Put your video on.
Arthur,
I'm looking.
lower left, video.
I don't think so. Julie's all right.
Hi, Ricky.
Did you get it?
No,
On the top, right-hand corner, video. I can't find a pair of glasses.
I got it.
Thank God for Linda.
I'm sorry, you should have left it the other way.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Councilor Powers, we are live. So whenever you're ready to start the meeting.
I'm ready. Let's start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands,
Stands
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and the audience at home. To those watching, this is going to be the Ways and Means Subcommittee meeting of June 29th, 2020 to finalize the budget. The budget was submitted by the mayor, and we've had, I think, at least 4, maybe 5 meetings to go over that budget and make recommendations for any cuts, anything that we felt were not appropriate for the ratepayers in this city. So I'm going to open the meeting. I'm going to have Ashley Melnick, our city clerk, call the roll of the members and also of the councilors that are non-members of the Ways and Means Committee, but are here. I also want to say that any public, any general public, residents of the city that want to speak after the city council is finished, they can make, before the vote, they can make suggestions or so forth. But let's start with the city council and let's call the roll of the members, Ashley, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. Roll call of the members of the Ways and Means Subcommittee. Councilor Janino? Here. Here. Councilor McKenna? Absent. Councilor Morabito?
Here.
Here. Councilor Visconti?
Here.
Here. Councilor Zambuto?
Coming in now. Tony,
Councilor Zambuto is here.
I'm
Council
sorry.
President
here.
Keefe?
I'm here. Was
Yeah.
having some technical difficulties, but we're good now.
Council President Keefe is here.
Yep.
And Chairman Powers?
Here.
Here. Quorum is present.
Okay, we can do this by item if we choose.
Mr. Chair, if may I have
Pardon me?
may I have a moment?
Pardon me?
I would like to the rest of the council subcommittee members. I have some corrections. Over the weekend, since Friday, it gave me the opportunity to review the budget even more and get additional information that I didn't have on Friday. So, which led to some corrections and some amendments to the cuts that I proposed on Friday. So with that being said, I'd like to address those cuts first, and we can go through line item by line item that we went through. However you want to do that is fine by me.
That's fine, but I'll caution everyone, we only have, like, from what I understand, 30 minutes to
I
do.
understand this will be quick. So if we can start off, if the rest of the subcommittee doesn't mind, we can begin by looking at the line items on the spreadsheet that I believe everyone has. I'm not sure if they do or do not. I think Ashley sent that over, or
I have it. I have it.
if you did or not. Excuse me?
I have it. I can tell you
Okay,
that.
so if we could, okay, if we could begin by department number 125, Human Resources, the HR Director. The 9,000 I would like to remove from the cut, that being because it is a signed contract agreement between the rec 911 in that, and I'd rather not, and it's above and beyond the 39 hours from what I'm told. So I have no problem removing that based on the fact that there is a signed agreement on that. So that is removed.
Madam Clerk, I think we should take a vote on these.
Can we take, yes, can we do them individually as we go through?
Yep.
Okay, so that wasn't a cut, so there's that. The HR part-time salaries is a reduction of $17,000.
Call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Chairman. Roll call of the committee members, Counselor Janino?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor McKenna? Your volume's off, Counselor.
She's okay now. Joanne,
No, but she doesn't have any volume.
oh,
Can you repeat what we're voting on? You said this was 17,000?
Sure, so do you want me to do the roll call? I mean, sorry, the vote again? So this was Department 125, Human Resources, page 2-13, part-time salaries, a reduction in the amount of $17,000.
Correct. I thought those were being subtracted from the original cuts that Council Visconti proposed.
That's what he just said. There will be no, that's my understanding.
So we're voting on votes. We're voting on cuts from cuts we didn't even appropriate yet. Is that correct?
No,
Does that make sense?
We're voting on cuts. That was, he just, the H&R Director,
That wasn't
he just recanted that.
The HR $9,000,
Was
Councilor
staying.
Maravito, was reinstated because of the fact
Okay,
that
so-
there is-
City
That's it.
Clerk, wouldn't it be wiser to have Councilor Visconti list the items that are going to be subtracted from his original deductions and then vote on that amount?
We're gonna vote after each item.
That's not making sense. That's not logical,
What do you mean
Chairman.
it's not making sense?
There was no cuts that were voted on Friday.
Correct. But he's not submitting
You're
cuts
against
right now. He is not submitting cuts right now. So why are we going to
What do you mean I'm
vote
not
on a
submitting
non-cut
cuts?
item?
Yes, he is.
I am
So we're
submitting.
cutting $9,000 right now. So
No,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Why are we going to cut on a non-cut item?
we're not.
We're not.
Point of
We're moving
information, we're
to
on the
each
next
item.
item.
We're not.
We're on item
the
number 2.
next- We're on
Yeah,
item
17,000.
Yes,
Correct.
we're on 17,000. So are we doing a roll call? How
I was in the middle of a roll call.
I'm sorry.
Would you like me to continue, Chairman?
Please.
Okay.
Point
So
of
again, this is-
information. So that $17,000 is the ability, those part-timers that are currently on furloughed, the reason they're furloughed is because they remain with health insurance. So this 17,000 allows the city to bring them back from furlough. So once we cut this, that means those part-time workers can no longer come back from furlough.
We're talking about the 311 department. Who was on furlough there?
No one.
On
No one's on furlough.
Let's,
Give me one
yes,
second.
no vote on the 17092.
Okay, so we're voting on the 17, we're on, okay, so we're on the 17092, correct?
17092, yes or no vote?
Okay.
No, the 17092 is the Chief Innovation Officer.
Okay.
We're
Got it.
on-
Information, Madam Clerk, can you read the item that we're on so the whole council is clear?
Sure, I'll read it again. So the cut that was offered by Counselor Visconti, 125, Human Resources, page 2-13, part-time salaries, requesting a reduction in the amount of $17,000.
Yes, the request for that part-time is $25,000. That line item is $25,000 in the existing budget. Okay, previous year's budget was $2,000.
Reset my phone.
The request is for 17,000. If any other company would like to reduce it or increase it, they are more than capable of doing that as well, or whatever they like to do. My suggestion was the 17,000. If people do not agree with that, then, and they want to increase that amount, they can do that. My cut is $17,000. I'd like a roll call on that if that's at all possible.
Clarification.
Partway through the roll call.
One question I have. That's on the Office of Innovation and Data Management, Chief Innovative Officer, am I right?
No,
No,
No.
Human
Oh.
Resources, page 2-13,
Yeah. okay,
part-time
well,
salaries.
Are we in the middle of a roll call here?
Yes.
Can we continue the roll call, please?
Continue the roll call.
Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, I thought you were gonna let other people talk about it. Or make comments.
Well, we've only got 30 minutes, so
Well, is that gonna shut us off?
no, it's up to the president. If he wants to allow
No,
us some more
It's
time.
up to you, you're the chairman.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't want to make it impossible for everyone.
I
You have a
think we're in the middle of a roll call here. I
Hold
don't
on
know.
here. What do you mean you don't want to make it possible for everyone to speak? Well, what's the purpose of it being a council if we can't speak?
That's fine.
I mean, honestly. Sorry, Councilor Novoselsky.
No, you're right, Counselor. Absolutely. We should have,
Well, we want to
we're still-
receive the roll call. What
we're
do you
still
want to do?
visiting, we're still here as members of the city council, even though we're not members of the committee. We've always let other people speak, other than committee members to make their
At the
comments.
end of the meeting, yes, at the end of the,
Absolutely.
No. Before each vote. We should be able to comment before each vote. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. Our comments won't mean.
the councilors can comment before each vote. I mean, we've had this budget for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, but we haven't had the cuts since Friday. We've only had it over the weekend, and I just got this list today.
Not only that, we've got 20 some odd people that are going to be out of work. We, at the very least, should do the diligence requisite of this budget, considering the economic turmoil that we're in as a country. We owe that
We all- listen,
very
sir.
responsibility.
We all know the economic downfall we're in. We all know about the virus and, let's get on with this budget.
But Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, here you have cutting out $17,000 from a part-time line item, and you had 23 employees that were laid off or furloughed. And if you cut this, they won't be able to come back to work.
Correct.
I don't believe that.
And I don't think that's appropriate.
That's not correct.
What do
That's
you mean
not
it's not correct? How do you know it's not correct?
Where do you get that information from?
I have a list of part-time employees that were laid off.
I was told that
And some of them will supposedly be brought back, but in order to bring them all back, some of them are from the elder services.
This is the human
How can you
resource.
not bring them back if you're going to eliminate their money?
Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, may I speak for a second, please?
Councilor Novoselsky has the floor.
Okay.
Well, I've said my piece. I'd be against this when it comes up on the floor because I don't want to stop anybody from coming back to work.
Correct.
I don't believe that's what this does.
It does.
I don't believe it.
These may be
Mr.
some of the
President,
senior
May I
citizens.
ask a question, please?
Go ahead,
Chairman,
Steve.
Are these union jobs? Are these part-time employees, union employees?
I don't even think this is, I don't
I
even.
just want to ask,
Okay.
just, Tony, let me get the
But
answer,
it's
please.
not related to jobs.
I understand, just let me get the answer.
Okay.
What is the question?
Are these jobs union positions?
I would think probably not, because I really believe that they're senior citizens, that's money to hire senior citizens.
So what has happened is union employees have been laid off. Several, I believe, are terminated. The bargaining rights of those unions, having been a union representative, would supersede those seniors that are furloughed, just to let you know. So those seniors cannot come back financially until those people from the union come back first. That's the law. Now, you can argue it one way or the other, but I can tell you this much. I've been through this before.
Call the roll. We all set? Call the roll. Either for or against?
So again, this was for Department 125-Human Resources, page 2-13, part-time salaries. Proposed reduction in the amount of $17,000. Counselor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor McKenna? Absent. Counselor Morbido?
No.
No. Counselor Powers?
No.
No. Counselor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Keith?
No.
No, that proposed reduction fails.
Thank you, folks. Good job.
Next item.
Okay. Office of Innovation and Data Management. Chief Innovation Officer, a reduction of 17,092.
Call the roll, please.
Counselor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor McKenna? Absent. Counselor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Keith?
No.
Council Zambudo?
What happened to me? I got left out of both roll calls.
I did too. Don't feel
I'm
bad.
sorry, I didn't have my list in front of me. And I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Ashley, just turn them off. Don't listen to them.
no, I apologize. Will you just go, can
Where's
I
where's
record?
Counselor McKenna?
can
I thought she
record
was.
Counselor Zambudo
Yes,
for the previous vote?
yes.
The cut still fails.
Yeah, but where's Counselor McKenna? I thought she was here.
She's not here. I don't,
He was having volume problems.
yeah.
Well, I think we should hold up until she's here. I want a full committee here.
You don't need a full committee. Whoever.
I want it.
Oh, it's good
I
that
was
you want
told
it.
the
You can't have it.
Oh, wait a minute. I was told the other night that we had to have a full committee. The chairman told me that we needed Counselor Powers.
Point of
Yes, she
information,
is.
she's back. It's irrelevant.
Actually, she has the right to vote because the Zoom was the issue. Wasn't her not wanting to be there. It was the communications issue. She has a right to vote. Move that.
Now the counselors McKenna.
Counselor McKenna, can you try the app from your cell phone?
Either that or just call the clerk.
Are you the 4992? Is that the last four digits? She's.
Ashley, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. My computer is not working, so I'm on my phone, which I don't want to be, but
Okay. Chairman Powers, do you want to go back to the roll call that Councilor McKenna missed due to technical difficulties?
Yeah, well, the $9,000, that was the first item, and that was with Jordan. There's no cut there.
Right, that was not offered.
No, okay. So the next one would be the 17,092.
If,
No, the seven,
if I may, before you vote, since everyone's here now, just to clarify,
Good
the
evening.
reason why I put the part-time salary into human resources so that we can centralize the money for the ability to take people back if and when they're ready. So just wanted to make that clear.
This could be used for the senior citizens too, am I correct?
I mean, part-time salary is part-time salary, so I think there's some leeway there. I know there's been a lot of people cut, and we want to try to bring them back where we could. So we couldn't bring everyone back, but we centralized those dollars in HR so that we can try to bring them back as needed and as.
Thank you, Mr. Biscay.
Excuse me,
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Biscay. So
Biscay.
those dollars in the HR, that would mean the union person has a right to bump a non-union person, number one.
Well,
Because they have a right to return to work if you have the money. So you can't have the money for seniors and not for a union worker.
No, these are part-time salaries, Council. The
These
full.
are not union
They're
workers.
still dollars. They're still dollars.
No, I understand. But if we had the money for the full-time, we would have put it right in the respective budget.
So
But
if you have two part-time, you have one full-time, right?
no, I understand. I just wanted to make it clear what those dollars were before you voted. So I'm not disagreeing with you. Every collective bargaining unit has their own parameters on how people. I just want to make sure everyone knew what that money was for.
Of course, of course.
I'm sorry. I'm
In the
trying to,
future,
my computer.
will everybody speak and not when addressed, but not over each other? It's getting confusing.
Wouldn't be a circus without music.
I'm sorry, that was me. I'm trying to get my computer going on.
Good point.
Patrick, you think
Sorry.
it goes on?
All right, Ashley, we're going to vote on the 17,092.
We're gonna do we're gonna redo the roll call?
Well, yes.
Okay.
now that Councilor McKenna is back. So 127 Department 127, Office of Innovation and Data Management, Chief Innovation Officer, reduction in the amount of 17,092. Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes,
Yes. Councilor Morbido?
He's muted.
I'm texting in.
Yes.
Councilor Morbido voting yes. Councilor Visconti?
Yes.
Councilor Zambuto?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Keefe?
No.
No. And Chairman Powers?
Yes.
Yes, that cut received a favorable recommendation.
Office of Innovation and Data Management, Director at 311. A reduction of $5,000.
Call the roll, please.
Can I just make a quick statement? This position right here, as you know, in the couple years, it's taken quite a while for us to promote and make 311 take off. The manager for this position not only is dealing with an increased amount of calls, especially with the pandemic that has arrived, but possibly a second surge. He acts as a liaison for all the ward counselors and constantly has to have his ears to the ground and to his staff, knowing what's going on, and be a liaison to the ward counselors and to every department head. So he has to work as an intermediary. So this is something to take into account as well.
Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Roll call on that proposed cut. Councilor Janino?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Counselor McKenna voting yes. Counselor Morabito?
No.
No. Counselor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Zambuto?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Keefe?
No,
No. And Chairman Powers?
No.
No, this cut receives a favorable recommendation.
Office of Innovation and Data Management, Assistant to Director. Reduction is 6,574.
Mr. Chairman, Council Novoselsky wants to speak.
Counselor,
Thank you, sir. Counselor, on these cuts, it looks like he's cutting out education incentive and also.
No, I'm not.
No.
I am not.
Well, that wasn't
Absolutely.
explained. I'm looking at it here. It says a cut.
No.
You're not doing that? What about the other,
that's,
the $5,000 other?
that's a stipend. And that's
The
something
other,
that
yeah. Is that being cut?
apparently, yeah.
The total reduction is 6,574, Counselor.
Can anybody hear me now?
I can hear you.
So you're cutting out the $5,000 also.
The 6,574 from the bottom, from the line item.
Counselor, where did those numbers come from?
Yeah, where's that number coming from?
I'm trying, Jessica.
The only thing extra I see in here is $5,000.
Right, and that's for a program that we want to do a GIS system. And I think we'd have to pay another $20,000 if we had to hire a private company to do it.
Okay.
So.
wasn't that just voted on?
No.
No.
My recommendation.
Director
is
311.
That they keep the $5,000 other or the stipend. I know the Council Visconti passed on a stipend out of DPW the other day. So I would think it'd be only, the right thing to do is be consistent and allow this stipend, this $5,000.
Well, I think it's the worthwhile service that he provides.
We also, if any other counselor, if I may, Mr. Chair, if any other counselor would like to make an adjustment to that, meaning if you don't agree with that dollar number and would like to reduce, instead of 5,000, you want to make a cut of 2,500, whatever is the will of the committee as far as I'm concerned. These are my cuts. If somebody wants to bring something else up, then you know what, that's their prerogative. This is my cut. If you want to vote on that, we will vote on this cut and see if it passes and so forth and so on.
Thank you for the clarity.
You're welcome, Pat. Council.
Call a roll, Madam
Council
Clerk.
President.
On the proposed reduction, the amount of $6,574, Assistant to the Director, Office of Innovation and Data Management, page 2-19, Counselor Janino.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor McKenna?
I'll make a recommend.
It's too late. You're in roll call.
Wait, we're in a roll call.
I know.
Yeah, if you're having technical difficulties, the same thing applies.
That's fine.
Hey, Joanne, do thumbs up or thumbs down. There you go.
Counselor McKenna voting yes. Counselor Morabito?
Is this a union position, Group 11?
I don't know, I'm not.
Because that's the information I got, that this is a union position, Group 11 / Step 3.
Just so currently right now, the assistant to the director that title is not in the union contract right now. It would have to get added into that union contract as of fiscal year 2021.
So are they already in negotiation with them, in talks?
I believe if it isn't, and I'm not in those negotiations, so I can't speak for that, but typically, and I'm not certain, but if that's something between the union and the the administration or the human resources.
Well, if there is conversation going on, and I don't want to go on a what-if basis, so my vote is no. I would not want to jeopardize any conversations going on between the mayor and any union position.
I'm just.
They can always do a, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, may I speak?
Certainly, go ahead.
They can always do with anything like that, they can always do a side letter, whether it's in negotiations or afterwards. I mean, these things are very simply solved with labor disputes. I mean, it's a very simple thing to do.
Can I offer a point of inquiry?
Go ahead.
Make your point,
Can
Council.
you please let the councilors speak before we start a roll call? Because this is getting very distracting. We're in the middle of a roll call.
You want to speak on every item?
Yes, if they
I
have,
don't care.
Let's do
Anybody
it.
wants to speak, that's their right. I just want them to speak before we get into a roll call. That's all.
Let 'em speak.
Thank you.
All right, we're in the middle of the roll call right now. Are we?
I know, that was my point, Council.
This was Council Morbido. This was in a reduction in the amount of $6,574 assistant to the director. I have Councilor Janito voting yes, Councilor McKenna voting yes, Councilor Morbido.
No.
No, Councilor Visconti?
yes.
Yes, Councilor Zambudo.
Yes.
Yes, Council President Keefe.
No.
No, Chairman Powers.
No.
No, this cut receives a favorable recommendation.
Item 127, Office of Innovation Data Management, the overtime, a reduction of 23,449.
Mr. Chairman, Councilor Novoselsky requests.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, 311's been very active over the last 3 months, and the mayor has expanded the hours of operation so the citizens can get services beyond the normal 9 to 5, as you want to call it. And I think this number should be more than 10,000. I know I'm not a member of the committee, but I would like to make an offer to increase by $5,000, that the new number be $15,000.
What was the original projected cut? 2023?
23,449.
If I may,
I want to make it 18,449.
if I may, Mr. Chair, yes, the Council President, the original request was for $33,000. The last year's budget had a $3,000 line item on it, and Councilor Novoselsky makes a valid point, and if somebody
I think that's a good point. I agree with that.
Good call.
make that adjustment, I am okay with that.
I'll go with it.
Me too. Thank you.
Good. That's
Thank
how
you.
it's supposed to be.
Thank you,
So
Mike.
can you have to do a roll call on that, correct me if I'm wrong?
Correct.
Ashley?
So what's going to be the total amount being reduced from the overtime line item?
18,449.
So on the roll call, Department 127, Office of Innovation and Data Management overtime, a reduction in the amount of 18,449. Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. Council President Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. And Chairman Powers?
Yes.
Yes. That cut received a favorable recommendation.
Line item 135, CFO Auditing Assistant Budget Director, a reduction of $3,000.
3,000 even?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
I just had a question, and the reason this is where, obviously, I respect the suggestions 100%, But this is, it looks like it's a new position. Again, and I feel like this is it's an added responsibility, correct? So it's an upgraded position from an analyst to a director. So I just want, that's where I kind of, that's where I've been against, and I'm not saying that, you have every right to suggest it, and I respect it, and of course, we have a right to debate, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that in essence, it's a promotion to a position that would be filled. So it's being filled with a promotion of someone internal.
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
State your point, sir.
This is no different than position that George Anzoni had held before. It's just a change of the name, CFO. I think the person that's there is probably the best person in the state.
No,
Yeah.
this is for
someone
the
else.
assistant.
Oh, the assistant, my
This
apologies.
is the assistant. I'm sorry. Not that I argue about your comment about Mr. Biscay by any stretch of the imagination.
George, go on, please.
I would not,
God, you're
I
compromised.
was telling them well,
You got
anyway.
your compromise.
I would not be in favor if it was for him. It's
Uh,
not.
Can I just,
Oh,
all kidding aside,
Actually, he was my choice when I ran for mayor. I was gonna beg him to come to Revere. Isn't that right, Rick?
you were ahead of the curve, Counselor, no doubt. Can I
Like a
just,
broken watch.
can I just get clarification on the $3,000 cut on that for my own benefit since it's my budget?
Coming out of the base salary?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
yes, you have permission. Oh, sorry.
So whoever can answer that, I appreciate the consideration to reduce. I'm just trying to understand where the $3,000 fits in.
The,
Part of a
Mr. Munch.
compromise, I think.
say that again?
Jerry,
Yes,
where's that 3,000 coming out of?
I picked it out of the air. No, I'm only kidding. That is, I think it's a reduction of the fact that we,
Local comps, a percentage increase.
huh?
Local comps and percentage increase. That's the
Yes.
way I look at it. Sorry.
Well, it's a $12,000, whatever.
Yes, it's an approximate,
If that's
Go
the
ahead.
answer, that's fine. I just want to, again, remind the council that it's a position that I find very valuable. The person in that position is tremendous at her job, and I have deferred any compensation for myself in order to try to help those in my office to allow me to do the best job I could. So I would really like you to consider keeping the salary where it's at. Thank you.
So, Mr. Chairman, that 3,000 will come out of her base salary down to 76.6. I mean, 78.6.
No.
Is that correct, Richie? I mean, Jerry?
that would come out of the base. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes.
Okay.
What is the new total? Can you, I don't seem to have the new total in front of me.
Minus the $3,000.
Be 80, 85. 85.
Sorry.
Joanne, mute your phone.
I'm sorry.
Joanne, mute your phone.
Okay.
I kind of like the sound.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you.
Was that number to go down to 85,720? Is that correct?
Something to that effect. That's what I got.
You guys awake? Hello?
What's,
Anybody else got to speak?
Mr. Chair, may I? Does anybody have a request to, in response to Mr. Viskey? If they don't want to remove it, they have that option as well.
right.
And I'm just putting that out there as well. So, you know, to credit Mr. Viskey's comment.
Is it $3,000 increase?
No, it's a
No.
cut. It's a
It's
$3,000
It's a
cut.
Oh,
$3,000 cut.
$3,000.
It was a much bigger cut.
Yes.
Right.
It was
It
part of
was
the
a,
compromise.
it was a yeah, it was quite a bit of a bigger cut. The fact that Mr. Viskey foregoed his own salary as a courtesy to that position speaks volumes on his behalf. So that is, and the fact that he wears, he's going to wear many hats in the city. So that gives him the ability to rely on somebody in that department and weigh heavy responsibilities to that particular person. So that was the thought process in going in on that behalf. And if anybody has any other recommendations, that's fine as well.
I would just like to make one comment, Mr. Chairman, if that's possible.
Go ahead, state your comment.
Thank you. You know, with many of these positions that we're cutting, manipulating, and so forth, I would hope that the council, when better economic times come, that we would revisit some of these people and look favorably on possibly appropriating in the future if we're able to do it, provided that we have those people that were laid off returned. So I just want people to realize that, you know, this way it's heavy on everybody, and it's not just a willy-nilly situation. Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Want to call the roll?
Counselor Powers,
Also.
Pardon me?
Counselor Janino has her hand raised.
Just a quick question. My Wi-Fi cut out, so I lost the whole meeting for a few minutes. Did I miss any roll calls?
No.
Okay.
So are we on a roll call for this cut, or where are we?
I have not been asked to take a roll call yet.
Call the roll, please.
Roll call on the proposed budget cut, the amount of $3,000 from the Assistant Budget Director's line item. Counselor Janino?
No.
No. Counselor McKenna?
No.
No. Counselor Morbido?
No.
No. Counselor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Zambuto?
Yes.
Yes. Council President Keefe?
No.
No. Chairman Powers?
No.
No. This proposed cut fails.
Thank you.
Line item 140. Information technology overtime. That line item is a reduction of $7,500.
Mr. Chairman, Councilor Novoselsky wishing to speak.
Councilor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I know IT was 0 last year, but a lot's been happening. We've increased a lot of programming going on with our computers. So I would just recommend that we increase that to $10,000 for the new amounts rather than only $7,500. Reduce it by 5,000.
Call the roll, please.
Well, let others-
Mr.
let other
Mr.
people
Chair.
talk.
Do you want, Mr. Chair, to you, to Councilor Novoselsky, you're looking to increase it by what's the total number?
I want to make the new number, reduce it by 5,000 rather than 7,500.
Okay. So reduce it by 5,000, okay.
So that's $2,500.
No, Reduce it by, the reduction is $5,000 is the reduction.
Okay.
Yeah, the new number would be $5,000 at
Okay.
the end.
Oh,
So point of information or clarification, I'm confused. You're talking about a cut or increasing it, and what's the final bottom line?
Bottom,
A reduction of $5,000.
Understood, thank you.
yes.
Roll call.
The new number would be 15,210.
Department 140, IT technology overtime, and the proposed reduction in the amount of $5,000. Counselor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor McKenna?
yes,
Yes. Counselor Morbido?
No.
No? Counselor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Zambuto?
Yes.
Yes. Council President Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. And Chairman Powers?
Yes.
Yes, this cut receives a favorable recommendation.
Next, next department is Department 182, Strategic Planning and Economic Development. Deputy Director, $20,137.
Where's that? Can somebody repeat that again? Where we are?
182. Strategy, planning, and economic. Deputy Director, 20,137,000. No, wait a minute. 137.
20,100.
20,000, I'm sorry.
Didn't we skip one?
No, I
Director,
don't,
Director
Yes.
of Finance?
Director
bottom?
of Finance was taking, I'm sorry, Director of Finance, Councilman Novoselsky was taking out of the cut due to the fact that, number one, I wasn't aware of the fact that she is currently being paid as the treasurer. That I do not know. And the fact of the matter is, we can't afford to lose a treasurer, and nor would I want that to happen. And that is so the fact that she is currently the treasurer and getting paid that, the reduction, the increase in her salary is the standard increase.
Okay, thank you very much. Didn't understand there was.
I apologize for not explaining that.
It's one person you don't want to lose.
No.
No, and we won't.
Uh, 182,
Go ahead.
Strategic Planning and Economic, Deputy Director, 20,137.
Any questions from anybody?
I do. Can I just say, part of doing a budget, as Ms. Kay has mentioned before, is forecasting, planning into the future, understanding which department heads may eventually retire or which department heads may need to be replaced. This is a position that we're going to cut with potentially this person fitting into a role of that higher position. So I
It's
cannot.
not a position that we're cutting, Councilor Novoselsky.
But it's a
We're cutting
dollar
the pay.
amount. You're going to
We're cutting the
expect
pay.
someone to take over a role. You're going to expect someone to take over a role for a lesser amount. And part of it would be fiscally irresponsible of us to get rid of this line item, because now we're going to have a female take over a role that is now occupied by a man making $20,000 less. So that's something we got to be careful about. Well, I'm all for equality, so that's something I will not vote for.
Okay. that's
Mr.
fine.
Chairman?
With all due respect, the criteria was set up in such a way that we're not looking at woman or man. This is a increase at a pandemic, and that's my position on it. And
Me too. Yeah.
Right, Steve.
Mr. Chairman, Council Novoselsky wishes to speak.
State your point, Councilor.
Through you to Council Visconti, where'd the 20,137 come from? That you're
Okay.
reducing?
That's off of the base, the 2020
Off the
base.
The original base, where she is now? The
Yes.
base was 90,000.
No, that's not.
No, that's the
increase.
that's the 2021 base. The 2020 base comes off of that. All right, is added on to, that.
That just seems a little drastic, you know, and I know the committee can vote what they want, and we still have a right to make changes when we come to the council, the regular full council. But I think that's extreme for a position that's being moved up and increased. You know, I just don't think it should be good. It's 76,000 for a deputy director.
Mr. Chairman, and if I may speak, Mr. Chairman, Patrick Keefe. And I understand that this is getting a little long, but I did want to mention that I know that we're looking at this in a blind base system, but I think it would be naive for us to not realize that we have to do our homework and see what we're actually voting on. So I do agree with Council Morbido, and I don't think anyone in this council is doing anything wrong, but we can't ignore what's behind the sheets, I should say. So it's important that we are aware of how we're voting, because it could be perceived in that way. So regardless of that, I've said this from the get-go. If a person is doing more, taking on a greater responsibility, I'm looking over to the right screen. There's a person, David Callahan. He's going to be the chief of police. He's going to be taking on a new role in the city. He would be expected to take on a higher payment with that new role. And I think that goes for the same as a person in, whether they're in finance or if they're in economic development or wherever it may be. I don't think the chief would be expected to take the same pay as a sergeant taking on the role as a chief. So just to use that as an example. But
Well,
anyway,
that argument was made the other night. I disagree with the argument. It's not the same. The chief of police is not the same as anybody else in the city. So that argument was tried on Friday. It failed.
Councilors, will you please speak through the chair?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, may I speak?
Councilor Sereno, you've had your hand up.
Yes,
And you haven't said a word yet.
Thank you.
Councilor-
I appreciate it. To Councilor, through you to Councilor Morbido's point, you know, if the person right now, we're essentially forecasting that person will eventually one day take over the role of the Chief of Economic Development, but that person is not the Chief of Economic Development at this time. So why wouldn't we, when the Chief of Economic Development retires, why then wouldn't she get a bump at that point? Not
Councilor Sereno, because part of being a budget is.
Councilor Morbido, you speak through the chair, please.
Mr. Chairman, through you to Councilor Sereno, talk to your budget directors. You forecast in advance. You get the weather forecast for this week. When? Last week. You get everything's forecasted in the past. So for instance, you need to forecast someone's pay. So if it's anticipated, okay, you need to include it in the budget because you don't want a surprise factor in the budget. No one likes a surprise factor. Let me give you an example. For instance, a pandemic, what's going on? That's a surprise factor. Wait, I have the floor. I never interrupt anyone. This is my time. This is my moment. Let me speak. This is my time. Let me speak, please.
My meeting. Councilor Rotundo.
The issue that you're trying to make, Mr. Chairman, through you, is a moot issue because you're removing one position for another. That is budgeted for that forecasted year. So no matter how you try to rationalize it, that person, once she bumps up, will automatically get that pay because it was forecasted for the following year, as you just pointed out. It changes nothing. I
Now,
didn't even know this person was a woman, to be quite honest with you, until you said.
But keep in mind, now someone has to fill their position, so that's
Mr.
why you
Chair.
forecast the job.
Mr. Chair,
That's a variable. You don't know that.
No, it's-
That's why we have that. That's
So
why we have.
are you saying you're gonna cut that
Mr.
position?
Chair,
next
may I-
year, Councilor
Mr. Chair,
Visconti?
can you
Are you
control
gonna
the
cut that
speed?
position next year?
Here we
We'll
go.
just call you-
Councilor Visconti, did you-
Back and
may I
forth.
speak? May I,
Go ahead.
point of information. To you, through you to Councilor Morabito. Okay, just so we are clear, okay, it is the same exact thing as the treasurer that left, and all of a sudden, the treasurer that left took the pay of the assistant treasurer took the pay of the treasurer, and then the person.
It was forecasted in the budget, fiscal year 19 and 20. Look at it, do your research. Just like
You're
all of
asking-
these. Wait, hold on.
Councilor
Wait, I want
Morabito.
everyone
Hold
looking.
on,
No,
everyone.
now
Hold
I am
on.
going to speak because no one's going to silence me. You can't throw me out because we're not in the council chambers, so we're on Zoom.
Right.
But what I'm going to say is, you guys should have done your homework when you told me there was no union cuts that we were voting on, and you were wrong. So I am not going to take your word lightly. So I'm going to vote no, and we can continue with the roll call.
You can do it.
Okay. You are entitled.
Call the roll. Call the roll, please.
Point of information, what are we calling the roll on? I'm so confused by all the back and forth and the lack of organization in this meeting right now that I don't even know what we're voting on.
Joanne,
So
your
we
mic
really need
works
to
now, huh?
clarify what's happening because this is.
Deputy Director of Strategic and Economic Development.
A reduction of 20,137.
Councilor Genino.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor McKenna.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Morabito.
No.
No, Councilor Visconti.
Yes,
Yes, Councilor Zambudo.
he's
Not
muted.
there.
He's muted.
He's not
Councilor
there.
Zambudo.
He's not there.
Yeah, I said yes. I'm sorry. I think I was muted. Yes,
Voted yes?
my vote.
Council President Keefe.
No.
No, and Chairman Powers.
No.
No, this cut passes with a favorable recommendation.
The program coordinator for strategic planning,
Have been cut. This is insane.
strategic planning and economic, the program coordinator, as Counselor Morabito did say, that is a union position. I made the mistake. I didn't see it. So that has been removed. I'm human. I made a mistake. My apologies. Line item 241, municipal inspection, building general counsel, reduction of $11,750.
Any councilors comment?
Mr. Chairman, Councilor Novoselsky.
Councilor Novoselsky.
Mr. Chairman, this basically is a new position in inspectional services, the building and general counsel. But I just can't see the number, that bottom line number of 104,057 to be higher than the other deputy assistant city solicitor. And I just think they should be the same pay. And that's what the reduction should go down to. I'm just trying to see what the number is for the city solicitor, the deputy. City solicitor, trying to find it.
The city solicitor,
Yeah.
is the city solicitor's pay. His base salary is 16. The assistant city solicitor is 102,941 is the base.
Yeah, personally, I would like to see those two equal. 'Cause
No, this is
unless you're withdrawing it.
to point of information.
State your point, sir.
Councilor Novoselsky, the building council, their salary, that person's salary is based at
116,063, right?
yeah, well, the base is 104,057 is the base. An increase from 91,544. So if are you looking to increase her base to 102? Is that your recommendation to the assistant? You're muted.
You mute.
No, my recommendation, suggestion would be to reduce the 104,057 down to the 102 number of the other person. Make them the same.
You want to reduce the the building general counsel to the assistant solicitor salary, base salary. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
State your point.
if I may make a quick point of information, this is one position where I do feel like the person has been underpaid. And I also know that the 40U violations alone that this department has brought in would fund this position and then some. So I do just want to make that point to this line item.
It's an excellent point. You're 100% right.
That was, I did,
Mr. President.
thank you. That's why I wanted to just clarify.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. President, my apologies.
No, I just wanted to, I was under the impression some of that was paid out of the Safe Housing Task Force money.
Okay, so
May I make a point, please? Mr. President, Mr. Chairman,
State your point, sir.
and through you, Mr. Chairman, to Councilor Janino, and the president, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm not mistaken, this particular person has actually recouped close to $100,000 for the city, 80,000 in unpaid fees.
you are correct.
Back. So at that, you know, it's practically paying for itself. So just consider that.
And I think with all of the way the city's growing, okay, and with all of the violations that we encumber every day in this city, I think it's important that we have a person like that with that capability right in that office to manage those, help manage those complaints that are coming in and make sure that it's done in a legal manner. Councilor McKenna, you had your hand up? I don't know.
No, I didn't have my hand up.
Your
My
name
computer's,
just came up on the screen. That's why. I asked.
everything is crazy tonight. So
Why did the screen go?
Which screen?
Councilor Novoselsky, did you do that?
Do what?
Blank that screen out?
No.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. All right. We're now on the, speaking of the position of attorney in the
Mr. Chairman, if I may, so is there a cut reduction proposed on that? Through you to
Was.
Council Visconti?
Yes, I thought I stated that. Did I not? General, municipal inspections, building general counsel, a reduction of $11,750.
Okay, so you're actually taking out the education and longevity?
No, I'm not. No.
So you're reducing the base,
It's a reduction of the base.
So from the
Of the
104,
21 base, right?
There's
Of
also a
the-
2% in there too.
There's also a 2%.
what's the new base number? Anybody figuring that out, what the new base
Yeah, I
number?
have it. I have it. That's from the homework I did.
'20 base number was 91,544.
The 21 base was 91.
544.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So her bottom line new salary will be 104,312?
Yes.
Okay.
And can I ask, what's her original right now? Is it 102?
No, it's 91,544.
And anybody know what the difference is for that?
Yeah, 11,750.
There's educational, and then there's longevity as
Right.
well that is included
And a 2%
in the
increase.
2% increase. And if somebody has a recommendation for something other, that's fine as well. These are only my suggestions.
Roll call, I guess.
Call the roll.
Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Department 241, Municipal Inspections, page 2-98, Building General Counsel. Proposed reduction in the amount of $11,750. Counselor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor McKenna?
No.
No. Counselor Morbido?
No.
No. Counselor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Zambudo?
Yes,
Yes. Counselor Keefe?
No,
No. Counselor Powers?
No.
No. That cut fails. That proposed cut fails.
Line item 420, Department of Public Works, Chief of Infrastructure, a reduction of 12,008.
Mr. Visconti, where is that? What line again?
Line item 420, Department 420, Department of Public Works, Chief of Infrastructure. Chief of Infrastructure is the title, a reduction of 12,008.
Mr. Chairman, Councilor Novoselsky wishing to speak.
Council Novoselsky.
Thank you. And Council, where did that number come from, that 12,008?
The majority of these numbers came from the previous salary. Okay, with the increase in the 2%, as well as any other longevities that were in the previous years were transferred over to the new fiscal year.
So that's only for this particular line item at 75.
That line item in the budget says, it's a $75,000 line item.
Well, half of his money is coming out of enterprise.
Half of
fund.
his, yes, half of his money comes from the water and the other half comes from the parks. DPW.
That's this money here from the parks, right?
Say that again?
Does this money come from the parks, this 75?
This one, I believe, is coming from,
DPW.
yes, this is coming from the DPW.
Mr. Chairman,
Council Rotundo.
this is historically the way it's always been funded. Half of the enterprise fund, half of the DPW fund. We can take out from either side, but I believe it's probably the safest to go with the DPW side if that's where we're taking it out of.
Can I make a comment?
Rick?
Just to some clarification, this is one of the new positions that would elevate Don Charamella to the
Chief.
position of chief, and we split it between water and sewer and DPW. However, we are contemplating using $75,000 of our inflow and infiltration funds in the special revenue account. So theoretically, this is a savings of $50,000 to the budget, not an increase of $25,000. So I just thought that was.
This is a new position. We've got Joe Maglione and Martelli on the water and sewer side. We've got Joe Lake and Paul Argenzio handling the DPW side, and he's overseeing everybody.
Yes, and the engineering department as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tom Tremonova did that job too. I remember the price for that. I mean, this is just, is he a licensed engineer, by the way?
That I don't have the answer to. I just.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's a licensed engineer.
I believe he can stamp, but I'm not 100% sure.
The point
We should know that. I mean, that's important thing if we're going to do that. I know he's great with architectural drawings. I've seen his work down at the St. Mary's, so, you know. But, so you're talking about taking the money out of the I&I fund?
I just wanted to make it clear to the council that as part of building the budget and trying to find ways to keep the costs low, we have an I&I fund. And as you all know, Donnie spends a ton of his time in the ditches and the infiltration. So we are using $25,000 from that special revenue account, which would actually make this a $50,000 savings. So just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that. Thank you.
Can
Any other councilors?
Mr. Chair, through you to Mr. Viskey, can you say that one more time? I'm sorry. Can you explain that? My apologies. I didn't
explain it. We have an inflow and infiltration account that is funded by new development in the city. When they're putting new development up, they're required to pay a fee for storage, inflow, and infiltration. And those monies are designated for those purposes. And we are using $75,000 of that to fund this position in fiscal.
Mr. Viskey, that's the fund that fed through the, depending on the number of bedrooms in the unit?
That's the funded through the planning department through Frank Stringy. I guess it's a fund, a fee that's been set up for many years for when these new developments come in and they
Yeah.
have adverse effect on our drainage and
Yeah.
inflow. So there was an ability to use some of those funds to offset some of the costs, and I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware that we were contemplating using that, which would save us $50,000 in fiscal year 2021.
Any other councils? Council Ganasso, I know you had your hand up and you,
Oh, I did, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to remind my colleagues that Lieutenant Callahan will be submitting his retirement papers before we finish this meeting. So I think it's in order that we proceed as we normally do. We're asking whether people have proper credentials, and that's all too late for that. We have a budget before it. I'm sure the mayor has checked the credentials, and he has a very adequate staff who could review the credentials of all people who are on this budget. So I ask that we proceed. We're already a half an hour into everybody else's meeting, and you've already, Mr. Chairman, I might add, did a very wonderful job, you and your committee, and the hours put into it. Right now, I observed for the last 45 minutes, just repeating things that really were already gone over, but only said in a different way. So I just think we should proceed with the vote and get this on to the committee of the whole and move the meeting along.
well,
Thank you, Mr.
So let's
Chairman.
vote the line items, just
we're almost there now. We're almost there now.
put them up and down.
Okay. Are we doing a roll call?
Call the roll, please.
Department 420, Department of Public Works, Chief of Infrastructure, page 2-108, Chief of Infrastructure line item, proposed reduction in the amount of $12,008. Counselor Janino.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes.
Voting yes. Counselor McKenna?
No,
No. Counselor Morbido?
No.
No. Counselor Visconti?
Yes?
Yes. Counselor Zambuto?
Yes,
Yes. Council President Keefe?
No,
No. Counselor Powers?
No,
No, that cut fails.
Line item 434, Department of Public Works, Water Sewer Superintendent, 12,008.
any questions?
this is the superintendent,
Yes, it's the other half of this pay.
Other half.
the other half of this pay. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing here, but
Mr. Chairman, Councilor Novoselsky. I know the last cut failed for his other half of his position. I hope this half fails also. Because now you're shooting at him double whammy. And I just hope that you don't approve this cut for this particular salary. Thank you.
I see what I did.
call the roll.
Roll call on the proposed cut, the amount of $12,008 from the DPW Water and Sewer Superintendent line item on page 4-8. Counselor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor McKenna?
Yes,
Yes. Counselor Morbido?
No.
No. Counselor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Zambuto?
yes,
Yes. Council President Keefe?
No,
No. And Chairman Powers?
No,
Now this cut passes with a favorable recommendation.
Madam Clerk,
Yes.
may I change my vote, please, to the Department of Public Works, or is this too late?
For the chief infrastructure or
Yes.
water and
I want-
sewer?
Yes.
For the
No, the chief infrastructure.
that was already voted.
That was already voted on.
Okay, I can't vote
No
on that.
changes.
Okay,
but you could do anything you want in the regular council meeting.
okay, thank you.
Line item 522, Public Health Department, Chief Health and Human Services, a reduction of 21,162.
Call the roll, please, unless there's questions.
Roll call, Counselor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Morbido?
No.
No. Counselor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Zambuto?
Yes.
Yes. Council President Keith?
No.
No. Chairman Powers?
No.
No. The cut passes with a favorable recommendation.
Line item 522 dash, Public Health Director of Outreach, a reduction of 9,866.
Call the roll. Unless there's
Roll call
questions.
on that proposed cut. Counselor Janino?
That's a union position as well.
It is not.
May
Before we
I,
call the roll, can we get clarification on that?
May
Because I
I-
was told it was not a union position.
It's
may
not.
I, may I get, Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
You through you to Council Morabito, the Director of Outreach is not in Unit A as a title, okay? It is correct that she is, the person is currently a union member. That position is currently not in the contract as a union.
So point of information.
Maybe I missed that too.
Mr. Viscay, were you being disingenuous when you emailed me and told me that was a union position?
I don't know if disingenuous would be the correct word, Counselor, but.
To me, it is.
Just like Counselor Visconti said, that position is currently a Unit A union position. And I don't know that there was any intention on removing that position from the union. So I don't
Is
think
it-
exact correct answer. As it is today, that's a Unit A unit position, union position.
And the, what is the title of that in Unit A, Mr. Biscay? Because I didn't see the,
She's the Healthy Community Initiatives.
and
Director.
I'm just trying to figure that out. That's all.
I understand, and I'm trying to answer it. So she's
Absolutely.
the Initiatives Director as of today. As of Wednesday, depending on how the vote goes, that job may not exist if it's voted down. I don't know what that means, but the job of Healthy Communities Initiatives Director has been rolled into the Health Department, so it is someone.
And can I just say, I did forward this information to two of my colleagues on the council who were handling the cuts. So whether it was ignored or just taken lightly, I'm not sure. But this was, and I was waiting for a call back since 9:30 or 10 a.m. and I haven't received any.
Well,
For your information, we called you back 3 times.
Roll call.
Wait a minute, time out. Time out. I want clarity here.
I'm trying to
Mr.
clarify.
Chairman, can I have the floor?
You have the floor,
I
yes.
want chairman. I want clarity here. I don't want to say that anybody's double speaking here, but the position is currently not in the union by this title. So, yeah, you know, I don't want to get into semantics, but it's not a union position by that title in Unit A at this point. Am I correct?
I guess my question is through you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know who to believe. Do I believe Richard Biscay, the Chief Financial Officer? Do I believe my colleague on the council? There's a lot of back and forth, and it shouldn't be like that. So where do I get my answer?
I actually believe, I actually believe both Councilors Visconti and I had the same exact answer in that today, that position is a Unit A union position. Now, that position has been rolled into health and a new position has been proposed to the council. That has not been determined whether that is in the union or out of the union, but there's no point in negotiating it either way if it's voted down. So
Okay.
it's really in limbo. There's no
So,
straight correct answer.
Mr. Chairman, through you to Counselor Morbido, just for clarification. if I can, I might be able to help you. And I'm not saying this to be fortuitous or anything like that, but is this the director of outreach we're talking about, correct?
Yes.
That I can tell you from last year's budget that in fact, that is a union position.
It is a union position.
Okay, which would mean that position last year.
And also part of her other
Is-
duties from last year
Okay.
were paid through what do you call it? A grant.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
That,
that being said,
it is,
so,
Stephen, it is a union position.
so
You're
help
correct.
me understand this, Mr. Viskey, is that the increase of that position, if it is in fact a union position going forward, number one, have to be negotiated under the collective bargaining agreement, okay, if that is the case. Number two, that increase right now is increasing, I think it's about 11, 12
$9,866.
from the previous year, which would lead me to believe that it's not a union position going forward. Because of the fact of the increase, I'm
I think once she assumes other duties, they're going to change her position. Does that sound about right, Rich?
Yeah, the question's fair, and the way I'd explain it is that once the council votes and the budget is finalized, we would have to talk to Unit A and talk about the changes, and at that point, I guess there would be a determination on whether that position is the Unit A management position that should be in the union, or if that comes out. So a lot of this is a bit premeditated based upon the results of the vote. So there's no correct answer, not that that's a great answer, but right now she's a union position. In 2 days, she may or may not be, depending on how the vote goes for the budget and how the contract negotiations go with Unit A.
Now we're in
agreed.
agreement.
That's
Now we're in agreement.
I appreciate the clarification, and that's exactly what I thought. Okay, so thank you for that. So if we can go back to that, Public Health Director of Outreach, a reduction of 9866. Can we have a roll call on it, Madam Chair?
Yes,
I mean, Madam Clerk?
I understand. Director of Outreach reduction, the amount of $9,866. Counselor Janino?
No,
No. Counselor McKenna?
Madam Clerk, is
Yes.
this to vote for the cut or against the cut?
This is
For the
for the
cut.
cut.
Yes,
For the-
sorry.
Okay. I'm sorry, please clarify. On the cut, yes or no?
On the cut,
For the cut.
yes.
For the
Yes.
cut, yes.
Counselor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Morbido?
Councilor Morbido,
No. No.
Voting no? Counselor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Zambuto?
Yes,
Yes. Counselor Keefe?
No.
No. And Chairman Powers?
yes.
Yes, that cut passes with a favorable recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, may I speak?
Certainly, Mr.
And
President.
I'm gonna make it quick. We're really pressing up on time. We've already gone past the appointment subcommittee. Now we're falling into general session. And on top of it, we have a lot of participants. And participants, if you're listening, if you do not have a full name, if there's nicknames, we're not gonna be taking any conversation from you. So if you're a participant, we're gonna be vetting the names. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Point of personal privilege. I would hope that the usage of name and address like we do at the council meeting is upheld.
Of course, there will be no anonymous participants.
Mr. Chair, at this time, I have removed the library cuts from the budget due to the fact that that is the same as the the treasurer's position, and the part-time was left there as well to make sure and ensure that we don't lose any of the funding from the state. So that has been removed as well.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
I am done, I guess.
Okay. Are there any other councilors that want to speak?
I think we got to get to the next meeting. I think we've taken up enough time.
I just want to make a statement for the general public, okay?
Go right ahead.
We are no longer a city of 45,000 as we were a decade or two ago. We're a city now that's probably close to 65,000 or more. And I know that the mayor is submitting this budget. I mean, there are a lot of things in there that we questioned. We felt probably shouldn't have been there. The money was high or something. We're trying to, the mayor and the city council, along with them, are trying to set up a city that can address the growth of this city down the road. So I would suggest in the future that any other positions that may be changing, where people may be upgrading or having added responsibilities or something, I would hope that in the future, the mayor and the council would work together on this and share our thoughts in a joint meeting from time to time. Thank you very much. And, that concludes the meeting of the Ways and Means Committee for June 29, 2020.
Can we have a recess?
I just concluded the meeting. We don't.
Yeah, I know. Mr. President, can we have a recess?
It's not my meeting.
You're in
Oh, it's
between
not. I'm
meetings.
sorry, Arthur.
Chairman Zambudo.
Zambudo's up next.
Oh,
Oh, geez.
okay.
I apologize. I thought Arthur was up next. I lost track. Madam Clerk, okay, so this is the zoning subcommittee of June 29th, 2020. We have one item on the list. Madam Clerk, you want to read the item?
Yes, sure. This is special permit number C-20-30. This is from Global Companies LLC, seeking permission from the Revere City Council to alter and extend a non-conforming structure, which is the proposed piping upgrades to take place at 140 Lieber Bank Highway.
Do we have anybody from Global here?
Yes.
Can you bring him in?
Yep, he's here.
Is there? Go ahead, Tyler.
Thank you, everyone. So my name is Tyler King. I work for CHA Consulting, and we are the engineer on this project. I'll be presenting for Global Companies today, seeking the special permit to alter existing non-conforming structures located at 140 Lieber Bank Highway. The purpose of the project is essentially a maintenance upgrade to remove or abandon existing underground piping and replace them with proposed above ground piping. These pipes will be put back essentially in the same place as the existing underground piping. And it is more of a maintenance project for the terminal to get pipes out of the ground and make it easier to inspect and maintain those pipes. The project has received approval from the Revere Conservation Commission, and we have received an amendment for our chapter, or their chapter 91 license for the facility. So we would like to respectfully request the approval of this special permit application. As we are in compliance, we believe, with the zoning standards, that these improvements will not be more substantially detrimental to the surrounding neighborhood. As we are in an industrial neighborhood, there are oil terminals in the vicinity, a large tank farm across the street. And this project will be beneficial as we will be able to inspect and more easily maintain the piping on the project site. So with that, I would like to open it up to any
Great.
questions.
Is that your entire, presentation?
Yes, sir.
And you're the only one here to present, correct?
Yes, sir.
Great. Any counselors?
I move to approve.
Okay.
You're not on the
Motion
committee.
on the floor to approve.
Chairman Zambudo, there's a couple conditions from site plan review that Frank Stringy had submitted.
Yeah, would you please read
Accept
them?
them.
Or you can just include them in the record, but I think we should read them.
Okay. 1, the plans must be reviewed and approved by the fire department. 2, the fire department must review and approve all existing and proposed fire suppression systems for compliance with fire safety codes. And 3, hydrant flow tests shall be performed as may be required by the fire department and city engineer to determine adequate fire flow to the site, and any improvements as may be necessary shall be completed, including the installation of new fire hydrants as may be required by the fire department.
Any counselors want to speak? So let's just go to a roll call, I guess.
Mr. Chairman,
Council Ganas?
I hope you're taking the motion from a member of the subcommittee to approve or disapprove
Yes,
on the vote. I make a motion to approve. I'm a member of the subcommittee.
okay, so I'm taking it.
All right.
So I think we'll call the roll of the subcommittee.
That's
Madam
correct.
Clerk?
That's what I'm
Sure.
looking for.
On the on granting the relief requested, subject to the findings and conditions of site plan review, Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morabito?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. And Chairman Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes, the special permit will be forwarded to the full city council with a favorable recommendation.
Great. That concludes the zoning subcommittee meeting for June 29th, 2020. Thank you all.
Madam Clerk,
Yes, Chairman.
the chair is ready to go forward. What I would like to do is first make a statement to you, Madam Clerk. And on my screen, I can only get 9 views. So if you would keep a watch on any counselors that have their hand up to speak, I hope that you would just intercede and speak on their behalf and inform me that they want to speak.
Sure. Chairman, if you want to try clicking in the top right-hand corner, you can toggle between speaker view and gallery view, and that might assist you.
I tried it and it didn't work.
Okay. All right. I will keep an eye out.
Thank you. I would like, first of all, Madam Clerk, to introduce the members of the subcommittee. Councilor Janino, Councilor
Here.
McKenna, Councilor Powers, Councilor Visconti, and Council President Keefe, by virtue of ex officio. Tonight, we have 5 individuals seeking appointment to the Revere, employment in the city of Revere. First is a very serious appointment. It's the appointment of David Callahan as Revere Police Chief. David, would you have like to introduce yourself and say a few words to the membership of the subcommittee and the council as a whole?
Good evening, councilors. My name is David Callahan. I'm employed by the Revere Police Department. I've been employed here for almost 30 years. I've performed in many different capacities on the police department, from patrol to juvenile in the schools to narcotics unit and the criminal investigation, and now I'm currently in the patrol division. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity and your consideration from the council for the appointment to be the next chief of police in the city of Revere Police Department. And especially during these trying times, I think it's very challenging. And, you know, we're going to have a lot of things we have to work together on, and we have to keep the community engaged together. and we have to move forward and have everybody, like I said, work as one and keep the community united. And just in closing, I want to thank everybody for their consideration and for your time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Any members of the subcommittee wishing to speak? Council McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to just tell a little story of how I met Dave Callahan. In 1999, he was stationed at Revere High School where I was a teacher, and I was also the senior class advisor. We had a prom at the Copley Plaza, and David supervised that prom. I didn't have a car to go home. So he said, do you want to ride? I said, well, I would love a ride, but I didn't know it was going to be in a cop car, a police car. So at 12 o'clock, we got in the police car, and he said, have you ever been in a police car before? Now, I didn't know him from a hole in the wall before this. And I said, no, I've never been in a police car. So we put on the sirens. He was, going a little bit fast. But then on the way back to my house, there was a domestic call. And he said, Joanne, I have to take it. So they took the domestic call and they parked in the middle of the street. And I was in the back seat of the police car for about an hour. And that's how I met David Callahan. So I just want to say kudos to you. I love you. I think you would be wonderful. And God bless you. You've really deserved this. So God bless you.
Council Janino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to congratulate you on this appointment. I think it's a good choice. I've had the pleasure of knowing David my whole life. Born and raised in Revere, grew up in the city, went through the school system. So I think it's a great choice, and I give you a lot of credit for stepping up during a difficult time to step up, and you definitely have your work cut out for you. And stay safe.
Council Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I said about 20 minutes ago at another meeting, this city is growing rapidly. Again, we're no longer a city of 45,000 as we were a decade and a half ago, but today we're approaching probably 65,000 or better if the truth were known with regard to our population. We've become a very diverse city, and that's all well and good. I think the important thing is here that we have a new chief coming in, someone that will address those situations, knows of those situations, and has the knowledge, and is a resident, has been a resident of the city of Revere for many, many years prior. So I want to congratulate you, David. You're a chief. I'll call you chief in about, I don't know, an hour probably when this comes before the council. But again, I want to congratulate you. I am confident. I have every confidence in the world that you will do a fantastic job as chief. You're fair, you're impartial, and you get right to the heart of every matter that comes before you. And again, congratulations.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Keith.
I didn't have my hand raised, but.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you did.
I know
Councilor
that.
Visconti, Novoselsky, and Sereno have their hands raised.
I will say I'm 100% behind this, and I wish him well.
Okay. Councilor Visconti.
Mr. Callahan, I just want to say congratulations on this appointment. I think like Councilor Janino said, you are taking the reins during a difficult time. So I admire that, doing that. But you're a man of integrity, and you will lead that police department proud. And I look forward to working with you. And I believe the whole council is behind you. So thank you again, and congratulations.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Rotundo.
Thank you. It goes without saying that Chief Callahan is the consummate professional. He enjoys the reputation and respect of his peers, both at the local, state, and federal level. He understands and engages the community in a manner that you would hope a chief would and does. I look forward to confirming him and working with him as I have in the past. And I just want to congratulate you on your success. It's well-deserved and well-earned.
Thank you, Council. Councilor Sereno.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, through you to our incoming chief. Chief Callahan, congratulations. You know, like Councilor Janino, I've known you since I was a little kid. I remember being at the police station and seeing you at the police station on Pleasant Street years ago. You know, you've always been not only respectful and professional, but you're a man of compassion, and you're what our city needs as we move forward into the 21st century with the department. So I know, as the previous speaker said, talking to some of the officers, I know that you enjoy their respect as well. And I have a feeling you're going to be a very successful chief. And I wish you the best for your tenure and a safe tenure. And I couldn't be any more excited to vote in support of this confirmation. Congratulations, Dave.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Novoselsky.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. David, I've known you since when? And it's been a pleasure. And you're not the first lieutenant to move up to chief, and we've been pretty lucky with that move from those two positions. And looking at your resume, nobody can beat that. It's just outstanding. What everybody said before is true. You're a classy guy. You appreciate people. You treat them the right way. I know you'll do it with your staff, the rest of the police force, and I look forward to working with you for many years to come. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Zambudo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chief, I've known you since I was a young man, so that's quite a long time ago. I always viewed you, the way you treated everybody you met, with respect, even before you were a police officer, but especially as a police officer. And it's a wonderful quality. And if we could all do that, we'd be a better world. I think that in this time, in this place, I couldn't think of a better person to be the chief of police. You were a great street cop. You were a great cop. Everything you did 100%. And I, for one, am very happy that you're going to be leading this police force for the future. So best of luck to you, my friend. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Councilor. Did I miss any councilors? Seeing none. David. Certainly, the first criteria is the type of person you are. You're a gentleman, a first-class gentleman in every term of the word. And every instance I had to interact with you, you've been nothing but professional and courteous. And what I like to see when the mayor submits a name up for recognition for a high position such as this, is you worked your way up the ranks. You served as a patrolman. You started your police career in Salisbury. So the water was too cold there, so you came to better waters in the city, the first public beach in the country. So we really are lucky to have you. You're a great guy. You have a wonderful family. Your wife is terrific. And I think you're the type of person we need to lead our community under these very trying times. Sensitivity is going to be probably up forefront the rest of our political careers and probably yours. And so it's going to take people of that type of character to be able to make determinations, be fair, and yet be determined to uphold the law in your particular position. And I applaud you for taking on the position. I applaud you for accepting the mayor's request to be our chief. And I applaud the city council for having the wisdom to confirm you this evening. So I look forward to many, many years of you serving our community. And I wish you nothing but the best, because you deserve nothing but the best. Congratulations. We will vote this out, committee of the whole, in a few minutes. And congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm quite humbled by all the kind words from everyone, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity. And thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to working with everybody on the council and to try to make things better. Thank you very much.
Next is the appointment of Daniel Orsina to the License Commission. Is Daniel here in attendance, Madam Clerk?
Yes, he is.
I'm here. Hello?
I can hear you, Daniel.
I can hear you, I can't see you, so that's okay. I'll work through the clerk. Daniel, would you
Awesome.
please give us a brief presentation?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me here tonight. If I'm selected, I would be honored to serve on the License Commission. I've been a resident of Revere for over 10 years. I own a business here. I've been practicing law in the state of Massachusetts as well as in Revere for about 11 years now. Haven't really been involved in too much of the local politics, but I feel when tapped, I'd be glad to serve. I worked alongside with Pat Keith and Pop Warner. I've coached in Revere. I've held several positions on some boards with the Mass Bar Association as well as the Boston Bar Association for various lawyer committees. So again, if given the opportunity to serve, I'd embrace it, and I'd love the opportunity.
Thank you. Councilor Keith.
Thank you, Councilor, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to say that Mr. Orsina is a great man, and he will be a great addition to the licensing board if selected. He mentioned not involved in politics, and I wanted to make sure that politics and license commission should be autonomous. And the fact that he never told me that he was going to put his name in the hat, and I didn't find out until I saw him on this piece of paper, shows me the type of person he'll be on that licensing board. So he comes with my high regard, and I know he'll do a good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other members of the subcommittee wishing to speak? Madam Clerk?
We have Councilor Zambuto, Councilor Novoselsky, as well as one resident.
And myself.
Oh, George, I missed you. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say, I am so impressed that this gentleman knew a city councilor and didn't tell him he was looking to be appointed to the License Commission. That says a lot about his character. And I've never met him, but I'm happy to meet him tonight, and I'm thrilled that he'll be serving on the License Commission, because I know he'll have to be truly impartial, because we all know how things work. And if you knew someone on the city council and you're going to be appointed to a city position, and you don't reach out to that person, that shows integrity. So I'm thrilled. And best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Visconti.
Mr. Orsina, I want to say I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you. I concur with Councilor Zambuto, the fact that you know Councilor Keith and didn't ask for a recommendation or anything of that sort does speak volumes. And I look forward to dealing with you on the Licensing Commission. Well, good luck. Congratulations.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other members of the subcommittee wishing to speak? Seeing none. Councilor Rotundo.
Thank you. Attorney Oceana, I gotta say, it's with great pleasure that you step up and actually serve the community. I think it's important that we have an attorney that's actually on the licensing board. I know you reside in West Revere and you have your offices, I believe, on American Legion Highway. Sir, I just want to thank you for doing that. I do have one question for you. You don't happen to speak Spanish, do you?
Very little. Very little.
All right, because it would have been a double whammy if you were. I have a friend with the same last name. He's Dominican.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
All right,
But
thank you kindly.
my wife is Spanish, so you know
She's got to teach you, man. She's got to teach you.
I know.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor
Counselor Joanne, what do you think?
Counselor
I'm
Novoselic.
trying to get on again. Sorry.
Joanne, mute your phone.
After we throw Joanne off the board, we'll.
I'm gonna try to get on.
Counselor
Hey,
Novoselic.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I don't know Daniel, but I have seen his wife's postings on Facebook. And I do wish him a lot of luck. It's an important board to be on. A lot happens there, and it's nice to see a new face on there. So welcome aboard, and we'll see you up there. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other counselors wishing to speak? Counselor Janino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My colleagues said a lot of what I was going to say, so I didn't want to be repetitive, but I just want to, thank you for wanting to be involved in the community and stepping up to the plate. I think it's great that not only are you a resident, but you're a business owner in the community, and you're willing to step up and, serve our community. I just have one question for you. It's sort of like an icebreaker because I haven't had the pleasure of working with you yet, but what's your favorite part about living in the city and working in the city?
Honestly, I think what drew me to Revere was the diversity. I think that the landscape in Revere is forever changing. There's a lot of opportunity here. I view it as an affluent city. It's a very convenient city in terms of its location, and so there's so many things that I love about the city itself. But I'm heavily involved with the football program. We've been changing that landscape. Pat Keefe and myself, we've worked alongside each other for a very long time. My son is growing up here. We love the schools. So I just view it as just overall a great opportunity for myself and my family, given the diversity and again, the landscape that's changing in Revere. I just want to get involved, and I'm really excited about the overall opportunity.
Well, I love to hear that. And thank you again. I look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Seeing no other counselors, there's a visitor who would like to speak. Counselor Sereno, you want to speak?
Yes, very, very quickly, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Through you to Attorney Oksana, I just wanted to say, Attorney Oksana, I know we haven't had the privilege to meet yet. However, when I was reading your resume, I think you're going to be a great fit for our License Commission, and I'm excited to get to know you and get to work with you. And I'm even more excited to hear you live in West Revere. You might be in Ward 6, but I'm sure you'll do a tremendous job on the License Commission. And I want to say ditto to what all my other counselors have said before me. So congratulations on your anticipated appointment tonight.
Well,
He's your next opponent.
Counsel, I'm sorry to give you the bad news, but he lives in Ward 3. Ms. Holmes. Is Ms. Holmes in the audience?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Holmes, 243 Campbell Avenue resident, Ward 2. I don't mean to be out of order. I am grateful for the opportunity to speak. I just have a question. It has nothing to do with this appointment, but I'm looking at my agenda and it looks like there was another appointment scheduled to be made second, and I was wondering why that.
You are speaking out of order. I'm the chairman, and I determine how it's read.
Oh, so that's yet to be, that's just coming up later.
That's right. We're attending to business. Don't worry about it.
Apologies. Thank you very much. No disrespect intended.
And my comments to the new commissioner to be, number one, I was a former commissioner and my wife happens to be a commissioner, but he doesn't realize he's got a very, very big role to hold. He lives in Bobby Hass's house. He bought the house Bobby Hass lived in. So you have a special guy there that he lives in one of my good friends' homes. And I welcome him to the License Commission. I also welcome him to Ward 3. And he did select a great area to live in because their ward councilor reviews it to make sure it's good. So Daniel, we're looking forward to working with you. The License Commission is a very, very important part of our community. You make decisions on a daily basis. And by the way, you are autonomous. So you can't, after you get confirmed for 6 years, you make decisions based on what you feel is best for our community. no interference from anybody. You have autonomous rights. So we look forward to having you serve our community. And according to everything I've heard about you, it's all good. And so the only unfortunate part about it is you work hand in hand with Keith, but that we can go, we can get by that. So Daniel, we will vote you out favorably this evening because it looks like we have unanimous opinion from the council. And congratulations on your appointment. And please do a good job for our community because these are going to be time that needs sensitivity. And I think you're the type of guy that can help in that direction. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Next is the appointment, Eclag Lemonade. And I ruined that, but please help me out because everybody ruins Guanasso. So you're in the same boat as me. So I've known you for years and you're just a great guy. So please state your name and address for the record and give us a brief presentation. He's muted.
Eclag, your computer's muted.
It's muted. You're muted.
Unmute.
I'll take care of it.
I'm sure you will.
All right.
There you
Can you hear
go.
me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Eclag Lemonade, and I live in 18 Bayline Revere, Massachusetts. Currently, I'm serving as a planning board member for City of Revere. It's going to be my honor and the privilege to serve as a member of the newly zoning board of appeal of this great city. If I'm approved, I can assure you that I will discharge all my duties according to the best of my knowledge by being professional, impartial to the process.
Thank you. Any councilors of the subcommittee?
Wasn't on yet. Wasn't on yet.
Janino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is another great example of a wonderful member of our community who I can call a friend who, again, I didn't know he was even up for this until I saw his name on the agenda. So, Eclag, you're a wonderful person. You're an asset to our community. And I'm so happy to see you getting involved and being a part of this. And if you can hear Sam in the background, he's speaking in favor too. So thank you so much. And I'm really looking forward to this. You have my support 110%. You're a wonderful person and I can't think of someone better to serve. So thank you.
Any other members of the subcommittee wishing to speak? Councilor McKenna. Councilor McKenna, you're muted. We'll go back to Councilor McKenna. Any other councilors wishing to speak at this time? Councilor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I've known Eclag a few years. He owns some property down in Ward 2, and I've worked with him in the planning board and also visiting all the different cultural events we've had around the city. Yeah, he's a good guy. I look forward to him making some good choices and good decisions on the ZBA, and you get a bunch of good people to work with. Chairman Tucker's outstanding. He's a good leader, and do what you think is the best. That's what it's all about. So welcome aboard. Thank you.
Any other councilors wishing to speak?
Yes.
Councilor Rotundo.
I want to say Eclag is, again, he's a consummate professional. He's a kind man. And he's just bear with me in Demona.
Madam Clerk, any other councilors wishing to speak?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilor Zambudo.
thank you. I'm trying to use the function, the hand up function, but I guess you can't see it from your area.
I have a great assistant, Ashley Melman.
That's great. Well, listen, This gentleman is a great person and very active in the community. And I think that it's just a great next step for him to get more involved with a very important board. And I know you'll deal this with a person of integrity. And I'm just happy that you're stepping up for this position. And I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Janino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. McKenna is having trouble with her sound, so I'm gonna, I was gonna put her on speaker. Hold on.
Oh, my God.
So this is Councilor McKenna. Never mind. I'll get her back if she comes back. Sorry.
Think of us. Councilor McKenna has wire trouble. Any other councilors wishing to speak?
Mr.
Dorito
Chairman,
and Visconti had their hands raised.
Councilor Visconti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. ACOG, I want to say congratulations. This is a great addition to the planning board. You are the always professional, and like Councilor Rotundo said, you're a kind man and a good family man, and that you will be a valued asset to that board.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilors wishing to speak?
Councilor McKenna.
Councilor McKenna.
I am sorry, I'm having technical difficulties with my phone and computer, so I'm speaking through Jessica's phone. But I just want to say I have to talk about Adlog because he's in my ward and I haven't known him for a long time, but he's been present, he's been helpful. He's a real asset to the community, and I'm so glad that he lives in my ward and didn't get to vote for me, and I can do things for him. And he's just a wonderful asset, and I really love you, Adlog. So
Thank you.
good luck, God bless, and congratulations.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Council. Well, again, Adlog, I've known you to be a true gentleman. You certainly, every time I've been in your company, you're very pleasant, very quiet, just a great guy. So I look forward to working with you again. This zoning board of appeals is a very important part of our city. You make decisions that affect neighborhoods. And that's why neighborhoods really need people with sensitivity and common sense. And that, you need to throw the book away on zoning. Just have common sense. And I think you do have that kind of quality. And you're going to do a great job for us. I know you are. Look forward to working. I see you're going to be serving the community for several years, and we look forward to working with you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Next is the appointment of Arthur Pelton to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Is Arthur present?
Yes, I am, Councilor.
Arthur, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Arthur Pelton. I'm living at High Street, excuse me, in Revere. And I've been in the community now for almost 8 years. And at this time, I am on the zoning board. I have been on the zoning board for a little better than 2 years, 2.5 years now. And what I enjoy about being on the zoning board is I really care what goes on in the community. And I have met a lot of you folks as well. And I just want to continue on doing what I'm doing at this point.
Okay, and another great Ward 3 citizen, by the way. Any members of the subcommittee wishing to speak? Councilor Janino.
Just speaking in favor. Arthur, thank you for all that you do, and I look forward to you serving for several more years.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Any other councilors wishing to speak? Councilor
Zambu.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Arthur, for, first of all, serving and wanting to continue to serve. You do a great job, and Best of luck on your continued service.
Thank you, Council. Council Visconti.
Just want to say congratulations. Thank you for your continuing service to our community, and look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you, Council. Any other councilors wishing to speak? Seeing none, this vote will come to a favorable vote this evening, Arthur. There's no need for any other review. We will vote you out favorably, and please do a good job for our community. You join hands with one ECLOG, and the two of you get together and work with Michael Tucker, who's the chair, another great guy serving the community. We look forward to some good things happening on the zoning board of appeals. Again, a very serious position in our community. The decisions made by that membership affects the neighbors, and that's an important part of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Arthur.
Thank you. And the next is appointment of Dimple Rana as Executive Director of the city's Human Rights Commission. Is Dimple in the audience?
Yes, hello, Council.
Hi, Dimple. State your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, Dimple Rana, 49 South Ave.
Thank you. Would you please make a brief presentation?
Thank you, Councilor Donato. So I really look forward to this position. I have over 20 years of experience in working in community settings, locally and internationally, as you all have had a chance to review with the resume I submitted. I look forward to reactivating the Human Rights Commission that was deactivated in the 1990s. The Human Rights Commission is important. It will investigate and adjudicate complaints of discrimination in the areas of human rights and protect the civil rights of residents and visitors to the city. Additionally, the commission shall aid the city of Revere by educating both businesses and residents, providing community outreach, and cooperating with other city, state, and federal agencies. I do also want to remind everyone that I will continue my current position as the Director of Healthy Community Initiatives under the title of Director of Outreach, and continue to run all the programs and initiatives of my office, which are mostly all grant funded, which include 71 summer youth jobs through YouthWorks, a workforce development program, which officially starts on Monday. The farmers market, overseeing a staff of 6 young people and volunteers. The census, which the deadline has been extended to the end of October, and overseeing a multilingual staff of 4. The 2 community gardens, and a 3rd in development that we're looking at in the Beachmont neighborhood. Co-leading Revere on the Move as the Mass in Motion coordinator for the statewide program. Continuing COVID-19 work, such as leading the Revere COVID-19 Community Response Network, which is made up of over 30 staff, community organizations, community leaders, and other residents of the city. In addition to the COVID-19 work, all of the 6 food programs that are currently run at the Emergency Food Distribution Center at the Rumney Marsh Academy. And to continue to translate all of the materials that we started to translate at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, in addition to many other initiatives and programs, on top of this new appointment as the Executive Director of the Human Rights Commission. I do want to also continue to share that I have not received a raise when I received the promotion from the manager to the Director of the Healthy Community Initiatives Department. And today I'm witnessing right now another promotion while maintaining 2 jobs, new programs to run, and no raise. In addition to the position of the Human Rights Commission Executive Director, it's listed as a voluntary unpaid position in the city's ordinance. So I just want to point this out and make it a point that it is a bit unfair, as I am seeking right now the appointment as the executive director of the Human Rights Commission and looking to assist in the city in promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion for all of our residents. So I just want to end that I do look forward to taking this position and this appointment. You know, I just also want to state that it does poorly in the future of the commission in terms of equality in the workplace, especially as a woman and as the only department head of color, where I'm continuing on to take on more work without having the raise that I need at this point. I've worked here for 10 years as of October. And I love this city. I grew up here. My family continues to live here, including the third generation of my family. I appreciate the changes that are happening here, but I want to make sure that they continue to happen equitably, not just for me, but for all of the people that live in Revere. And so in that, I do look forward to working with the community, with the administration, and all of you on the full establishment of the Human Rights Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Any members of the subcommittee wishing to speak? No members wishing to speak? Any councilors wishing to speak? Councilor Rotundo.
I thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dimple, could you go over what the responsibilities of the Human Rights Commission is and the functions? I'm sorry, I unfortunately, I didn't hear it and I apologize.
So they're still in development, Councilor Rotundo. The ordinances need to be updated a little bit and reviewed by a committee that I would like to put together to help review, a community-led community that I would like to put together to review the ordinances and to bring them up to date. But what is listed in the ordinances are around what I stated earlier. So the Human Rights Commission will investigate complaints of discrimination in the areas of human rights and protect the civil rights of residents. And additionally, the commission shall aid the city of Revere by education with businesses and residents in providing community outreach.
So that's an issue, and I'll tell you why. Right now, actually, you can validate this with Chief Callahan and Mark Toulouse of the FBI, that the hate crimes group from the FBI are investigating what's going on with what happened in West Revere. If you're going to do that here, that takes away the full legal conduct of both the state, local, and federal level. Because what are you investigating if we already have these literal law enforcement people to do it? That's my only question.
So that is, again, up to the development of and updating the ordinances. But at this time, what I've also looked at other cities and also being part of a coalition called Bridges that includes the FBI, includes the Attorney General's office and a number of other organizations, that it would be working alongside, not as the governing authority of this. So we would work with these offices.
So how would you maintain the chain of custody if you had a civil rights issue, or for that matter, something of that nature?
Counselor, I look forward to answering that question once we have a little bit more developed for the Human Rights Commission that has
Point of information. Can I just state,
wait a minute.
Part of the,
excuse me, Counselor.
Part of the muni, through you, Mr. Almighty Chair.
Well, if you want to be heard, you gotta go through the chair.
So all I just want to say is part of the ordinance states that the commission should be made up of the police chief as well as the superintendent of schools. They should be also involved, if that clears.
And if you remember last year, Steve, I think through you, Chairman Guanasso, I think it was
Councilor
either the year before or the year after. I still had those reservations then as I do now. So I
Councilor
mean, that's
Redundant,
about
through
it,
the
but thank
chair when
you.
you speak.
Dimple, I appreciate you giving me that information. Thank you.
Council, when you want to speak, please go through the chair.
I thought I was doing
Any other
that, sorry.
council wishing to speak? Is there a motion on the floor to approve this? Councilor Zambudo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess I'm at a disadvantage. I don't have a long history of knowing about human rights commissions, and I guess I'm concerned of what's the criteria in this instance for the mayor to pick an individual, and because
Madam Clerk, he's been muted.
I didn't mute Counselor Zambudo. He
Can you
lost
hear
it.
me?
He doesn't have any volume.
Council, we haven't heard you last couple of minutes.
oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. I said I was at a disadvantage because I don't know a lot about human rights commissions. And I really would like to know the criteria of how someone picks a chairman or a director for a human rights commission, because I feel that if, God forbid, there was any bias, this could create a real problem from that position. So I think it's a powerful board. It sounds like a powerful board if I understand by reading the ordinance what it actually does. So I don't know. I'd like more information. I don't know if you're going to keep this in committee. We're voting this out tonight. And I'm not on the committee, so I don't have a vote. But that would just be a suggestion.
Any other members of the council wishing to speak? Any member of the subcommittee wishing to speak?
Mr. Chair.
Councilor Visconti.
I first want to say thank you to the mayor for reinstating the Human Rights Commission, and I think it's a needed commission at this time. I think it's a very important position and commission, I should say, and I personally would like to. Before voting on this, I want to make sure that we do this right. And I feel that I'd like some more information on it and feel, I don't feel comfortable at this point in time voting on it and would like to table it for the next meeting to see, to get more information. And I'm not saying Ms. Rana is not qualified. I'm not saying that at all. I just think that we, during these times, we need to make sure that we do this right. And like I said, I'm not questioning the mayor's selection, but I think it's a position that I feel strongly on, that at this point in time that we look into it further. Now, I don't know how everybody else feels. That's just my point. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So is that a form of a motion, Councilor?
I would table this appointment. My motion is to table this decision, this appointment at this time.
On the motion of Councilor Visconti to table.
Mr. Chairman, can I?
Who's speaking?
Mayor Rigo.
Mayor, Mr. Mayor, go ahead. I can't see it, Mr. Mayor. I'm sorry.
No worries. I just want to, I would request that the counselor, if there are any questions that any council member has, please don't hesitate to reach out. And the more detailed, the better. I just wonder right now, are there any questions that I or anyone else could answer?
And Mr. Chair, may I?
Councilor Visconti.
Okay, and through you to the mayor. Mayor, I'm going to be honest with you. I have been obviously entrenched in the budget. okay, which has taken up quite a bit of my time. And I have intentions on asking the questions. I just, I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't prepared for it due to the fact of the budget and the fact that I wasn't even aware that this was coming up this soon, to be honest. So that's the honest truth. So, but
Mr. Chairman,
I'd like to look into it further. That's me. I don't know how everybody else feels.
Mr. Mayor.
I just wonder what is it that you want to look into further? The human rights, having a human rights commission. Is it the appointment of the employee that's before you right now? What are the questions? I mean, I just find it hard to believe that there are no, that you have questions, but you don't know what the questions are.
Councilor Ganasso, may I speak?
Councilor Visconti was answering the mayor, and then Councilor Rotundo thereafter. Councilor Visconti, you have the floor.
Well, I think one of the concerns is there a reason? I think it's a position that I would consider maybe somebody of law in that position, but that's me, you know, and I like to see the difference, but you know, it's like I said, Mr. Mayor, I have
I'll answer that question. And Councilor Rotundo referred to this, I think, or maybe Dimple did, but the police chief is a member of the Human Rights Commission, as part of the constitution of the and the ordinances that are in place for the Human Rights Commission. Now, that's to say that this is not going to happen overnight, and I don't expect to have a full Human Rights Commission kind of appointed all that quickly. I think there's going to be some time and some work that needs to be done to look at updating the ordinances, because they are a little bit out of date. As was mentioned, the Human Rights Commission was essentially disbanded as part of city government for a while, and this actually came up in our conversations with community organizations, especially faith-based organizations throughout the city during COVID. I have a regular call with faith leaders in the city, and as we were talking about events of happening throughout the world and throughout the nation, one idea that was brought up by Pastor Nick was the Human Rights Commission, and I had heard it from a few other people. So that was something that he had actually, Pastor Nick actually served on it under, I think, Mayor Brasino, or maybe Mayor Colella at the time, but that was something that we said, okay, we'll take a look at. And so I had the conversation with Dimple about leading the charge of getting the Human Rights Commission reactivated in the city. I think that that's work that I've given her, and she's already started down that path and on that work. And so I thought the obvious next logical move would be to appoint the executive director as it is written in the ordinances, and then we could start convening community groups to take a look at the actual ordinances. Of course, those ordinance changes are going to go through the city council. So there are a lot of moving pieces, a lot of semantics. I call them details. Some councils like to call them semantics, but there's a lot of work to be done. And so the quicker we can answer questions, and the quicker the councilors can come up with their questions, I think it would be helpful to move this along. And I would expect that there be if there are any questions. Again, I know the budget's a lot. I know this is there's a lot coming at new members on the council. I will say that I did put out a press release, I think 2 weeks ago, about the work that we're doing. The council has known that I fully intended to recommission the Human Rights Commission, and that I would be appointing Dimple to that position. So I don't see this as a big surprise, but if there are any questions, my phone and my email are always on, and be more than willing to answer any of those questions.
I appreciate that.
Well, as the chair, I understand. We had 5 appointments this evening. 4 of these positions, Mr. Mayor, are presently positions that are being occupied by somebody now with a history of how the operations of that department and that position works. With this, we saw it in the past, a couple of administrations saw fit to not have this. They eliminated this position for whatever reason that might be. I'm unaware of that you had this in mind 2 weeks ago. I only got with this directive on Thursday night, so we had 3 days to look at it. And really, in the 32 years that I worked in the city council, we've never had one.
Point of information, Mr. Chairman.
What's your point, Councilor Morabito?
Point is, you were on the council when I submitted this motion to have the mayor reinstate the Human Resource Commission. You were there, so I would hope you were. It passed through the council, so I would hope that you would remember that and would anticipate that move would be coming. Also, Mayor Ambrosino did have the Human Rights Commission.
I don't need
and then it somehow.
You're out of order. I asked the
why? I have a point of what's excuse me, what's the point? What's the time limit on a point of information? What is the time limit on a point of inquiry? Point of inquiry.
Please mute.
Point of inquiry.
At the request of the chair. Thank you. Now, this is not going to be a shouting match. This is going to be an objective meeting. I have 11 visitors.
Maybe we need someone new in Ward 3.
Wow. Wow.
This is what politics is getting to. We're getting to childish little play that are taking this personally.
Childish is not letting someone speak. Someone who comes to every single meeting, and when he does speak, he is.
City clerk, would you please mute him? He doesn't have permission to speak. I saw meetings previously, and it got out of control, and I was very upset by that.
I'm sure if you took a survey,
Councilor, you're out of order.
I'm sure if you took a survey of every person who watched this meeting, they would say Steve Morabito doesn't speak a lot, but when he does, he gets muted.
Well, that's good. Well, then I'll say it. Mute him. This is how you run a business. Councilor President Keith has his hand up. Please speak.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to, I think you noticed that there's a lot of attendees that I think wish to speak.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure you knew that.
I did ask to speak.
Councilor Keith.
That's all I wanted to make sure you knew. Thank you.
Yeah, I have 11 people want to speak. The city clerk has already informed me. And we'll listen to them. We'll give them a couple of minutes, and that's it.
Point of personal privilege.
I don't know what the direction of this is going to be.
Point of personal privilege.
You don't have a personal privilege at this time. We're in a subcommittee meeting, and it's only subcommittee members, of which you're not.
Very well.
Now, let me reframe our minutes our rules of order. Our rules of order say that an appointment on a subcommittees are chaired and there's memberships. And the memberships of that subcommittee have the right to vote something up or down and give it to the committee of the whole, and they can overrule if they want. So I have Councilor Nino, Councilor McKenna, Councilor Powers, Councilor Visconti, and Councilor Keith are members of the subcommittee. Member of the subcommittee, Councilor Janino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With all due respect, it's 7 o'clock. The council meeting was supposed to start at 6. I don't think this was at anyone's fault. I think that we had a very heavily loaded schedule, and it might have been a little bit of poor planning on our part as a council. And I don't think that the residents should have to suffer because of our mistakes. I think that we're getting a little bit out of hand, and I think that attacks are being made that are personal that should not be. I think that as community leaders, we owe it to the community to allow the residents that want to speak to be heard, and also to allow the councilors that have questions or concerns or any questions that they should be heard as well. And it's just my concern that, this is a very important night. We have to vote on the budget this evening. And again, I think that we kind of overloaded ourselves a little bit, but we're
Human
also
rights is personal, by the way. Human rights is personal.
Councilor Morbido, you're out of order again. Learn etiquette first.
Arrest me, I'm sorry.
You're rude.
No, enough is enough. I'm sick
Enough
of
is
being
enough. Sit
pushed.
down.
I'm
That's an
sick of being
overstatement.
walked over. I'm sick of for 7 years being walked over and being silenced. I just am. And I'm not going to stand for it.
Councilor Janine, are you through?
I
No,
don't know
SB.
even my train of thought anymore, but I will say, Councilor Morbido, I am sorry that you're upset. You know that we have your back on the council. I think this is getting a little testy and a little out of hand. Again, it's 7 o'clock at night. The meeting was supposed to start an hour ago. Mr. Chairman, I know you have people to go through, but I just hope everyone can see that this clearly should have been planned for a little differently. We didn't give ourselves enough time.
Well, what's the wish? The first order of business is what's the wish of the subcommittee? Do they want this to go into, hold it over, table it, or they want it to go to the council for a vote this evening? That's all I ask. It's a simple thing. Just vote it up, vote it down.
Mr. Chair,
Councilor responsible,
I would
member of the
prefer to
subcommittee.
just, if that's okay, I would prefer to just table it to the next meeting, if that's at all possible. I don't know what the will is of the council, but that's my motion.
There's a motion.
I would like to hear, with that being said, although I would like to hear, what the residents' thoughts are.
I would too. I would.
And see
There are
what
11
that
residents
is.
want to speak, and we're going to let them speak.
So if that's possible, I would like to.
As long as they keep remain to the issue, they don't get out of hand like some of the councilors do. This is fine. They'll be heard.
Thank you.
So this will,
Jabs. Enough with the jabs, okay?
Council, you're out of order again.
My respect for you.
Madam Clerk, would you read the names of the people who want to be heard from the audience?
Sure. Laura Holmes, Rashid Mukabir, Lee Simmons.
Can we take them as you call them? The first one, Laura
Sure,
Holmes.
we'll go one at a time. Thank you.
Laura Holmes, are you still with us?
Laura Holmes, L-O-R.
Hi,
Laura- Laura.
hello, councilors. With respect, Laura Holmes, 243 Campbell Ave, resident. I'm a little nervous speaking. It seems like this committee somehow has gotten very, very tense. I remember hearing about the appointment that the mayor was going to nominate Dimple Rana for this appointment at least a week or so ago. I think it was in the newspaper. And so that gave me time to look into it. So I'm surprised to hear that there are counselors who have not taken an interest in learning more about what this position is all about. During the time this conversation has been going on, it took me about 2 minutes to look up online and find the ordinance. And I just want to read one line from that. It is the policy of the city of Revere, including its employees, agents, and officials, to protect the constitutional, civil, and human rights of all the people within the city, and to promote understanding among individuals and groups in the city through improving the quality of discourse and eliminating unlawful discrimination. It seems to me like there's no better argument than listening to this tense conversation of our city council as to why we need a human rights commission in this city. So I truly hope that you will support the mayor in wanting to reinstate this commission. And I've known Dimple Rana for a very long time. Just hearing the list of all the things that she has accomplished during her tenure at the city, not always under the best of circumstances. She's a professional person. She's a lifelong Revere resident. She has always contributed as a volunteer and always put herself out there, sometimes at great personal risk, to stand up for the things that are best for all the members of this community, especially those whose voices have been marginalized. And the last thing I want to say is that cities and towns across the United States have human rights commissions. It's a very normal, commonplace type of a body to have on a responsible, accountable city, which I know Revere wants to be. And given the changes in our demographics, given the great growth in our city, there's no better time than now to reignite this commission. And I hope you will support Dimple Rana as its executive director. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next,
Next is Rashid Mukabir. I'm allowing you to speak.
Rashid.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rashid Mukhabir of 591 Beach Street, Revere, a proud Moroccan American community organizer. I've been advertising for diversity and inclusion in the city of Revere through education and cultural events. I believe that the Human Rights Commission is needed more than any time before due to the late circumstances in our city. Furthermore, community organizers are looking to establish another independent commission to work with the Human Rights Commission side by side to resolve issues as they arise in our city. I personally worked with Dimple Rana in many projects. Lately in Revere emergency response team, she demonstrated great leadership skills in that role, and they can't see any person in the city who can be better in this position as a human rights executive director. I personally had an issue in the city of Revere, but I didn't know where to go. I sent my complaint letter to the mayor, to the city councilor, to everybody in the city. No one could help me resolve that issue. Finally, I applaud the mayor for his brave decision. Finally, we started seeing people of color representing us. Congrats to Chief David Callahan, to Mr. Aklog Lemene, Danielle Oshina, and Arthur Felton. My best advice to all the appointees is please look for the best for all the residents in the city of Revere, not Ward 6 or Ward 3. Please pay attention, do not pay attention to that word map. You are here to serve all the residents. Finally, I would like to apologize for any appropriate language that was written on the ground or on the walls last Friday. That does not represent any of the organizers of the rally. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rashid.
It seemed really heartfelt.
Next, Madam Clerk.
Next is Lee Simmons.
Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, great. Thank you. So I'm speaking as someone who's actually new to Revere. I moved here exactly a year ago, but I'd lived in Boston for 15 years. And I moved to Revere when I heard about work that people like Dimple are doing and what a vibrant and ever-changing community Revere was, and I knew it was right. And nothing has changed since I've been here. I love it and love it more every week. When I heard about the HRC being reinstated, I thought that really fit with all of the work that's needed given the upheavals in our country. And I thought this is really seems right for a city like Revere. And I just want to mention that I don't know Dimple well yet, but her work with the young people of the city has impressed me so much. I'm a primary care doctor at Mass General, and through connections from Dimple, I've been introduced now to 2 young women in the city who are pre-med, planning to become doctors from our immigrant communities here in the city. She really has a way of finding out what these young people need and getting them in the right connections and really making a vibrant, healthy city. So I'm all for it. And I really appreciate you giving us the time to share our opinions.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Next is first initial T, last name Sparling.
Hi, yes, good evening. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Timothy Sparling. I'm a resident of Revere for about 8 years now. I definitely wanted to come in and also vocalize my support for Miss Rana. She's just been tremendous in everything I've seen her do, from the youth to all of the assistance she's provided to the residents during this terrible 100-year pandemic. She's just done a phenomenal job, both in her work for the city as well as in her personal life. I kind of wonder if she ever sleeps. She does a really phenomenal job. I can't help but to have noticed everything this evening. I've attended council meetings before. I've not said anything during those meetings. While the other persons that were nominated this evening for positions, all of them, in addition to their nominations, each of them received extremely high accolades, and I'm sure that they all deserved it. I wish that the same has happened for Ms. Rana, and unfortunately it is not. I've seen quite the opposite this evening and I must say, as well as in previous council meetings, it seems, toward Ms. Rana. And as a newer resident of the city, I can't help but scratch my head and say, what is going on here? I can't figure out what it is about Ms. Rana that it feels like every interaction that I've had seeing the board and how they've not only not recognized Ms. Rana, but on top of that, the way that a counselor has been treated tonight and being silenced. And when there was another resident that earlier brought it to the attention of the board that mysteriously one appointment, which was for Ms. Rana, was skipped over, no mention was made of it. I personally feel that she was kind of rudely dismissed as well. And so it does leave me just saying, what is up? I don't know what's going on, why Ms. Rana is being treated this way. And I feel very unfairly.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, sir, because number one, she wasn't skipped over intentionally. She was skipped over because I knew this would be a lengthy hearing. I knew the others were in place. The positions were already on board for several years. So this is a new position, sir. This isn't something that and it was made mention by Lara that I should have read the paper. No, I became a city council and worked hard to become a city council because I want the information before it hits the newspaper. So that in itself, I don't go sifting through the newspapers to see what's going on in the city. I try to know what's going on in the city, and I want the news before it happens. So I take exception to that we don't know what's going on. We do know, but we also know that we should be notified when a position like this is being mentioned. And if it came up from a vote and a motion several years ago, it doesn't mean that it's coming back on board right now. So I don't understand what that onslaught was all about, but I will address that, but I will do it in the proper manner. I won't do it over Zoom.
Mr. Chairman.
I ask you that I appreciate your appearance here and we thank you for your efforts. We understand what's going on here. We just want to make certain that there are questions. If the council has questions, they have questions. It's as simple as that. It doesn't mean that Ms. Deborah Rana is not going to get the job. It's just that and the mayor said, give us all the questions you have, write them down, come meet with, and we'll answer them. So what's wrong with that?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'm a little confused even more. I don't remember mentioning anything about newspapers.
Oh, no. I'm talking about a previous speaker. I said Lara, that person Lara.
Oh, okay. I thought you were addressing me.
And no. And you said that you didn't understand why you weren't listening yourself because you didn't understand why we went over. And I told her that. So
no, my point was, my point was that when the resident brought it to your attention, I felt like she was rudely dismissed, like I feel the council was.
To get to that, yeah, I said we're going to get to that. So, what else do you want me to say?
All right, I was just letting you know how the optics were appearing.
I appreciate your concerns. Madam Clerk?
Next resident is Ina Tull.
Aya?
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Ina Tall. I live at 100 Florence Avenue. I've been a resident of Revere for 15 years. And I have, a background in public service. I mean, I worked for the state many years ago, so about, 20 years now. But I kind of left that and was not involved until I moved to Revere 15 years ago. Maybe not so much then, but the last 5 years, really, Dimple Reyna, I feel like, has moved the city and really brought the community together. And I'm talking about, the diversity here in Revere. We didn't have any representation. She came and she engaged us. We felt like we were heard. We felt like we belonged. We felt that there's hope in the city, that maybe somebody who looks like me, maybe somebody of color, can be sitting at the table and look for my interest, which I had never seen before. So it is very important that for something that the Human Rights Commission, that you think about somebody like Dimple, not only that she is fair in what she does, she is honest, she's hardworking. I can't believe that her salary is being cut with everything that she does. She is, organizing every morning, taking care of people in need here in Revere. During the COVID-19, she's the one who put everything together with the mayor to make sure that people are being served. I mean, what can this lady do to prove you that she is committed for the city, that she loves the city, and that she's doing the right thing for us and by us? Please consider her appointment, approve it. You will not be disappointed. She is the right candidate. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ina. Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Next resident is Fatou Drame.
Fatou?
Hi, good evening. My name is Fatou Drame and I live at 30 Park Avenue in Revere. And I'm here today to speak in support of Dimple Rana's appointment. I've known Dimple for so long. I've worked with her in many capacities. She volunteered with programs that I do. And she basically is someone that I really admire, because when I think about it, I don't even know how she does it. Dimple is someone who has been beating like every day, and she will get up in the following day and she'll just keep on going. She helps people, not in like groups, but individuals. Anyone who comes to Dimple with their problems, Dimple help them out. She is someone who is there for the city, for everyone. During this COVID-19, Dimple has done excellent job of bringing everyone together, making sure that everyone is contributing towards helping our residents. She's someone who is a leadership that we really need to admire her. She has so much to give and she's giving so much. So for this appointment, I think that Dimple need to be in that position because she deserves it. This commission is really needed right now. We really need it in the city. If we are saying that Rivere's diversity is our asset, then we need to value that asset. And that asset means that we need to put people in the right place. And I think that Dimple is the right person to be in this place. And she's not going to be the only one there working. Like you said, the chief of police is going to be with her. Other people are going to be there with her. It's not going to be like she's the only one going to be driving this. She will be working with everyone in the city to make sure that everyone's rights is protected. So I will really recommend, and I will appeal to all the councillors to please consider Dimple for this position. She deserves it, and she should be in that position. She doesn't deserve all the things that she's going through. She is blamed for things that she's not even responsible for, and she's taking it and just keep on going. So I really hope that you all will consider appointing her for this position. She really needs it. She deserves it. She deserves this position. We need her to be.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Oh, the next panelist, just to announce, is Devin Smith Clark, but this person is using, it says, an older version of Zoom. Okay, let's see. I have to promote this person to a panelist to allow them to speak. This person does not have volume. I'll go to the next person. Olga Takur. This person also has a older version of Zoom. There we go.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, hi, thank you for this opportunity to speak. I'm a little nervous because the tension that was going on previous among yourselves, but I'm really here to speak up in favor and as a proponent of this appointment for Dimple Rana. My address is 83 Glendale Street. I've been living here for 18 years, and thanks to people like Dimple, that she's well connected to the community. She knows the needs of the community, she knows the assets of the community, and I think she's been through a lot. Honestly, I have seen Dimple working so hard that the salary that she might have, it's not even half of the job that she does. And she's not supporting only a certain group of people. She's supporting everyone who comes to her. And she's always with this thirst of inclusion, diversity, and justice. And that's why I really admire the mayor that is appointing a person of color, because if you see every single corner almost of the city is not represented. Every single level of power that you see is not represented well the demographic of this city. This city is so diverse and it's great. And I've been living here. I love this city and I love to see people like Dimple that it's advocating for changes, for a better future for everyone here in this city. She's been working so hard previous to the COVID, during the COVID. It's thanks to her that she puts every group to represent. She puts the Spanish network, who most of us volunteer the whole time to serve the people that probably the city can't reach easily. And I ask you, every one of you, to consider appointing her, because it's an asset to have Dimple Rana in one of these positions. I think the city, and together with you, can work, can do better in appointing people that represents the rest of the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your comments. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Next is Danielle Osterman.
Hi, thank you. This is Danielle Osterman, 96 Bay Road. As a constituent tonight, I'm slightly embarrassed. This appointment was on the agenda just like all of the other ones. You had ample time to prepare for them, and yet you failed to do so for Dimple's appointment. As a social worker in this community, I would like for someone to answer me why there is so much hesitation around this appointment and the creation of the Human Rights Commission. Dimple was one of the first people to welcome me in this city when I moved here several years ago. She has worked tirelessly for the city and moved mountains for its residents. I cannot say enough positive things about her, and it would be a huge loss to the city if she doesn't get this appointment and this commission is not created. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Next up is just a resident listed as Nico.
Nico?
Yes, hi, Counselor. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, how you doing? Nico Kostopoulos, 111 Mill Street. And again, I will be addressing the council with respect, as I always do. I have nothing but respect for the body. Tonight, I'm speaking against the position for Dimple. I don't feel that Dimple should be appointed for this position. Dimple talks about protecting the civil rights of all of us residents. When Dimple, in fact, violated my civil rights, She suppressed my First Amendment right to free speech. This went before the council. The council told her that she had to honor my First Amendment right of free speech. She defied the council on that order and targeted me and shut down a business I had at the farmer's market. She took money out of my pocket and my family's food off my family's table because she didn't align with my political beliefs. Her bias towards me because she supported another candidate cost me money. She attacked my livelihood. Of course, do I believe we need the HRC instituted and reactivated? I don't feel it ever should have been deactivated. Revere's been a diverse community for many, many years. Okay, and I'm highly nervous and upset. The tension at this meeting was unbelievable, and I'm afraid I'm gonna get cut off at any minute. So I'm trying to get everything I want to say out. Okay, because of that t-shirt, when you guys told her to leave me alone and protected my civil rights, and you told her, Chairman Guanasso, okay, that I had every right to wear that shirt. The very same day that she told me I couldn't wear it, she allowed protesters to post a picture on the Farmers Market Facebook page talking bad about the Speaker of the House, Bob DeLeo. So I can't wear a political shirt, but she can allow her political beliefs to be posted on that Farmers Market Facebook page. Now, she colludes with the license commissioner, Bob Sulovich, to target me and shut me down because of my shirt. She sent Mr. Sulovich over to my stand to tell me that he knew I was breaking the law. I have all this videotaped because Dimple sent him over there. In the long run, we were shut down because I wore a Rizzo shirt. And now we're going to look to appoint this individual to help the whole community. I don't feel that she wants to be inclusive with the entire community. I don't doubt Ms. Rana has helped members of this community. I'm sure she has. But unfortunately, she doesn't want to include everybody into that clique. I've been a resident here for many years as well, my entire life. My parents, my grandparents. Why can't I get the help from Dimple Rana? Why can't I have my civil rights protected from Dimple Rana? Why did she target me? Because I'm not of color? I don't understand what the problem was. I wear a political shirt. If she's allowed to be put in this position, I feel she's going to further use her position of power to discriminate against any idea that's not aligned with hers. Okay, nothing's been done by the city. There's been no action or remedies taken against her. No one's contacted me. The mayor jumps on here and wants to defend her right away because you guys didn't want to appoint it and you want to put thought into it, which is the smart decision. But he wasn't trying to correct her actions. She runs the farmers market. She talks about employing the youth. I encourage you guys to go down there and watch what they do. They sit at a table. She's nowhere to be found. She makes a presence once in a great while. She leaves an 18-year-old to run that farmer's market. When there's a problem that arises, no one knows how to resolve that problem because there's no leadership. Okay, now we're going to appoint her. I see Ms. Rana shaking her head no. I would like some feedback from the council. And you guys know what happened. She allowed... she allowed this to happen and no one's done anything about it. Would anyone like to ask me questions about this?
Nico, this is not a question and answer period. You made your statement and we appreciate your concern. And I have, I guess there's 10 other people who want to speak. I think that we could go on for 100 other speakers. I think at some point we have to cut this off, because I've never seen 10 people come up and speak on behalf of the committee.
Yeah.
The candidate.
Yes, sir. I agree, sir.
Is there a motion from the committee to continue this to a further meeting? There's no motion from the subcommittee.
Motion to continue.
Motion to
continue. Yeah.
Motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Council.
Thank you. Sorry, car just went by. I agree with a lot of the speakers this evening, and I agree with Ms. Holmes when she said that this commission is vital to this community, and we're in a time right now where we need to reinstate the commission, and I fully support that. And personally, I don't think it's been fair tonight to Dimple for this committee and the council to take action on this appointment based on the variety of comments that have been heard and said. So I think that we as a council heard the respect of having a formal meeting where the 10 or 15 other people that want to speak can speak. It sounds like she has a lot of support from the community. And I think we owe her to have that. Again, I spoke at the beginning of the meeting. We're already now an hour and a half late for the council business. So thank you, Mr. President Keefe, for allowing this. But I think, Simple, we owe you the respect of having a formal meeting where this can actually be discussed and people aren't cut off. So, Mr. Chairman, I vote that we table it.
There's a motion on the floor to table. All in favor, opposed?
Aye.
This
Said nice job.
motion is tabled until the next regular council.
AP Guerrero, what's that?
Okay, what happened?
Somebody on there?
Nothing
you
happened.
Can you
Mr.
mute,
Cas-
can you mute Nico?
He's already muted.
Good. Okay.
Let's
Oh.
move on.
Members of the subcommittee, that concludes our appointment subcommittee. Whenever the chair calls for the next meeting, we will have a meeting prior to that. And I thank you for attending. Thank you. This concludes. the
Sample of a two-face.
So I'm glad I'm included in being attacked. That's nice. I feel included now.
I feel it comes with the territory. I think.
That's
Good
sure
evening,
does.
gentlemen, and ladies and gentlemen, good evening. The people that are viewing, I appreciate your tolerance in the delay. I know that there was a lot of lengthy discussions starting at 4:30 this afternoon. We will start the call to order the city council meeting of the whole for June. I forget, is it like the July 1st now? What's today's date?
June 29th.
June 29th, 2020. We'll all rise and salute the flag.